whichever way it went, it was going to be a lifetime memory for me.
You can't control what anybody else does, so just worry about what you're doing. Do the best you can.
This is what I really wanted. Follow your heart and just be fearless and brave, and amazing things will happen.
Playing in my home state, I have probably 100 people rooting for me. All that emotion just kind of came out.
I think at least I'm proving to myself that I can still do it.
It feels amazing. One of the best tournaments in the sport to win, and having a major title is incredible.
Welcome back to beautiful Stockton, California in Swenson Park for round one of the President's Cup, presented by MVP and OTB Discs. Who can outfox the rest of the field and grab the first major of the year? You'll find out live on the Disc Golf Network. There is beautiful Swenson Park. Looking amazing today, as are the cute baby foxes. And taking a look at our Canada conditions, the temp up for the morning, humidity down thankfully. Wind still pretty manageable. And we are going to get right into the action. Adam Hammis to start 4 through 5. Big make from Hammis. Now let's jump ahead on the course to Jesse Nieminen. A tap-in birdie. Grab double digits on the day. He is your clubhouse leader. Gonna take a look at our Innova Hot Rounds. Doubling as your leaderboard on day one. Andrew Marby, one of the best putters in the world. Colin Dowling, Tipton. And in that clubhouse is your leader, Jesse Nieminen, with Nate Perkins. All yours, Perkins.
Say double digits to start your major bid. How did it feel out there today?
Man, it felt easy. Rarely I get these kind of throwing days. I think I was struggled to on every hole but one.
Wow.
So, and I didn't make a single one of those. So I left some out there, but like I was throwing so well. I was always in the middle of the fairway on the par 4s and par 5s and didn't need to scramble at all. So, and all the difficult greens, I could just lay up all the Circle 2 putts. So yeah, good day.
So no Circle 2 makes for the 10 under par. Well, then talk about how your Circle 1 putting was feeling.
Bad. I'm gonna be honest. When I came to the green and started putting, I was like, this is not good. I didn't get a single, I didn't get the pop I usually get from my putt. So that's usually not a good sign, and it showed in the Circle 2s, but I could compose myself in Circle 1 and just try to keep the stroke the same. So I made all of those pretty easily. But yeah, hopefully I'll get a little bit better feeling tomorrow.
Well, unofficially 1074 rated. I mean, how does that feel to start off 1070 for the major?
Yeah, I can't ask for any better round to start. Yeah, just I like this place. It plays pretty well actually for me, even though it's a long course. I can use my forehand a lot here, so if that's working, I think I'm good for the weekend.
All right, yes, congrats on the 10 under par, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And welcome into the booth at Swenson Park. I'm Ian Anderson, your host. That is Major Champion Nate Sexton and three-time World Champion Nate Doss over there. How about that round from Jesse, huh?
Pretty great, and I think it aligns with the 20 years of research I've put in. Performance on the putting green has absolutely nothing to do with how you're going to end up playing that day. That's proof right there. He didn't feel it, but ended up putting down a great round.
Yeah, and I'll say if he starts feeling better tomorrow, the field better watch out because he shot 10 down. What a way to fire off the major here at the Champions Cup. What an exciting week it's going to be. And being that it is a major championship, the big man we're going to talk about is Paul McBeth because he's always chasing those records. And, of course, we know he's going after Ken Climo here. And it's, it feels like a real possibility for Paul with how he's been playing lately.
Hey, he's been on a lead card, final day every tournament so far. He's been there. Hasn't closed, which is kind of interesting, Nate.
Yeah, not yet, but it does seem like he's on his way to that. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit of it's got to feel great, kind of a redemption season after what, by his standards, probably felt like a bit of a lost season last year. So he's really starting out on a better foot this time. And yeah, I mean, the clock ticks for everybody. So trying to catch Climo has been a long, long chase. Could it be this week? Maybe.
Kind of feels like regardless of the storyline heading into any major, it's always going to be the conversation until, if ever, McBeth can surpass Ken Climo. I think we all think he will, but it's always going to be that conversation about, can Paul finally get to 18 and then eventually get to 19?
You see that HMB down there? That's for Hold My Bag. They just launched the biggest fantasy disc golf game on the market. Free to join, and you'll be competing for huge prizes at each event. You pick 5 players, one ranked 1 to 10, one 11 to 20, and so on. How do you guys feel as Paul with your 1 to 10 pick? You guys going with that one?
Let him earn it. He's got to earn it from. I think give me Anthony Barella if I'm holding bags.
Yeah, AB, that's a good pick. I mean, I'm certainly going to be looking at the defending champion here at the OTB and Calvin Heimberg. But of course, you can't overlook the man at the top, Gannon Burr as well. It's, this is going to be one for the big boys. This is a big course, and I think all that distance is certainly going to help to go low.
Yeah, you gotta love the Calvin pick. Nobody plays Swenson better than Calvin. And on the ground is our man Nate Perkins with all yours, sir.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak with Paul McBeth and asked him about what seems to me is extra motivation for the year. And he really had 2 answers, right? The first answer is the shoulder. It's healed up. He's able to actually play practice rounds and kind of drop into the tournament rounds without any pain, without any thought of the shoulder hurting him. And then second, he referred to his son Pablo, right? He doesn't want his disc golf history to be something of the past for Pablo. He really wants him to experience some success while, Paul still got it. So, Sexton, you said it, the clock is ticking. And Doss, I do think he will get to 18, but Paul historically hasn't played his best disc golf on golf courses. So we'll see what he has for us this week.
Thank you, Perkins. And a reminder, if you are a PDGA member, you get the Champions Cup for free. You can scan that QR code to activate that. Awesome benefit to your PDGA membership. And after the break, the modern era GOAT will try to catch the original GOAT in major championships. See you on the other side.
If you want to know what a disc is going to feel like before you get it, you have to check out OTB disc. The first thing I'm looking for when I grab a new disc is the feel of the disc. It's got to be confidence instilled. Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
It's really, really helpful in not only finding a disc that looks beautiful, but is also exactly what you're looking for it to feel like. Of course, when you're dealing with OTB, you're going to get only the best.
In a game of precision, when a miscalculation can mean the difference between winning or losing, you require instant, pinpoint accuracy. When you need confidence in your shot, turn to MVP's Parsec Laser Rangefinder.
PDGA's Champions Cup is presented by MVP, the leading hedge in disc sports, and OTB Discs, only the best.
multiple-time major champion is one of the rarest things in our sport. Chris is making a dream a reality right now, playing this course phenomenally all week.
Two-time major champion, Mr. Chris Dickerson.
Can't imagine what's going through this kid's head right now.
His whole family's up here. It's a pretty special scene. In your home state, win a major championship.
First time major winner, Isaac Robinson!
The story is this man, Andrew Presnell, has done. Unbelievable.
Andrew Presnell!
We are flying above Swenson Park. Looks like we're headed back over to MPO 1T. And how about that Presnell win from last year, guys, huh?
It was incredible.
So cool.
It was incredible. We were just talking about it. There was that moment when he had the putter just fly into the water with about 5-6 holes to go where he airballed, lost his putter. His caddy had to like run back. The resilience, it was incredible.
Now introducing the 310 group. First on the tee box, from Kuopio, Finland, Niklas Antala. Next up from Montgomery, Illinois, Gavin Rathbun.
Roller coming?
I think certainly. And it's a good play if you can keep a little bit of cut.
Come on. Yeah, pass that guy.
That looks great. It's a brand new hole, 688 foot
From
par
Boulder,
4. The pinch
Colorado,
point of the out of bounds
Eagle
is right around that
McMahon.
400 foot mark.
And completing this group, from Huntington Beach, California, Paul McBeth. Good luck, everyone. Play well.
And down there on the ground is our man Nate Perkins with PDGA's Scott Withers. All yours, Perkins.
All right, Scott, you're done playing for the day. You're wearing a different hat now. Talk to us about the new role that you've taken on at the PDGA.
Yeah, so a couple months ago I got brought on as a TD program director for the PDGA. I've done a lot of running events in the past, and between being a player and being a TD, it just kind of fits to like be able to have all perspectives. And the PDGA is really starting to invest in tournament directors, those people that just give it everything they have on a local level, volunteer-based. So some really cool trainings coming out, or that have been rolled out right now, and just other like reward systems that we're working on to say thank you for the people that are out doing it on the ground.
Cool. Well, where can people go to find that, I believe, free TD training?
Yeah, the new TD training is free for all PDGA members. Go to pdga.com/TD/training, take you to a link, you get signed up, and it has 18 different holes, 18 different lessons that you can do to give you some resources.
All right, Scott, thanks for the time. Let's go enjoy the show.
Thank you, Nate and Scott, for that. Adam Hammis, 4 through 6. This is second on 7.
Solid drive, dead center here. And that appears to be circle 1.
That's a man, and when he gets cooking, the field should be afraid. His ceiling is crazy high. McBeth, second on 1.
Saw McBeth go with a conservative drive, but there's a reason for that. There's the most open access point, I think, even though he does make contact with a tree there, is through that tunnel on the right side. That did kick right out of bounds, though, for McBeth.
Yeah, those trees on the right side are basically the OB line. So if you finish right of them, you're going to be OB.
McMahon, perhaps the more safe play with the forehand.
This course has a lot of forehands on it, and I think somebody with power on both sides, wow, he almost makes it.
Cool.
I think the person with power on both sides obviously always has a great opportunity, but I think out here the sidearm is going to be a huge advantage.
And look at our clubhouse leader, Nate.
Exactly, and just look at hole 1. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the tee shot.
Ooh.
It's set up for a sidearm.
You have to keep it nice and flat, and Eagle did a great job of that off the tee. The mistake with the forehand is going to be letting it flare because, like I said, that pinch point of the OB right around the 400-foot mark, if you have a power forehand and you start swinging right, you could find OB off the drive.
Antala's second, underway.
You know, and this is a pretty soft par 4 to start the tournament, just 688 feet, slightly downhill off the tee. Yeah, I think, a couple of just sort of clean tee shots, you should give yourself a look.
Back to 7, birdie putt for Hammis. Let's go 5 through 7. That's a heck of a start for Adam Hammis, gents.
Yes, it is.
Second for Rathbun, back on 1. Excuse me, Nate.
No worries. Traditionally, Hammis has not done well in major championships. I mean, he does not have any podiums on his career, but he does have 4 Elite Series wins. And you kind of think with Adam Hammis, it's not necessarily an if, it's more of a when. You feel like this week with his power sidearm, if he can make putts, because the course is so long, you end up with a lot of circle 2 looks. Hammis could easily be one of those guys. Plus, he's already got the win this year.
No argument for me. I mean, clearly proven it with the start he had today that he's serious this week, and I think as all of us know, you get out to that good rhythm, it can kind of build on itself. You let yourself just kind of do your thing. Don't let the moment get too big. See where you find yourself 36 holes in or so. Oh, very close from McBeth trying to save the par.
And this is a great view here. As I was saying, those trees are a little bit inside the out-of-bounds line, but with McBeth taking the kick right, he was OB there. Good effort to try to save the par, but just a good point of reference of where that OB line is to the right of the pin.
Rathbun for birdie.
I think that'll obviously be frustrating, but especially because the roller was so nice. They had the big drive of the group to kind of leave that forehand just a little short. Going to be an annoying par for Gavin.
Nicholas for 3. The Finnish Cowboy drops that one in nicely. Solid focus despite the audio.
Rathbun taking second place last year in that big battle with Calvin Heinberg. Certainly knows how to play well here at Swenson Park.
Bogey start for McBeth. Presnell will start his title defense on the other side of this break. We'll see you there.
We're through 54 holes.
It is going to be an exciting championship Sunday.
Evelina with what might have been the single best drive in the division.
Evelina has been so good at throwing those direct lines.
2024 PDGA Champions Cup presented by Bushnell winner, Evelina Salanen.
And this will be an approach shot he'll remember for a long, long time.
Course record, title. This may be the best day of Ezra Robinson's life.
The legacy of the Robinson brothers grows today.
Supreme Flight Open champion and first time Elite Series winner, Ezra Robinson.
My name's Paul Uliberry, and I use the Uli Signature All-Terrain cart. I use the all-terrain because when I'm on tour, I typically use a lot more discs than a lot of people, and this is the slimmest cart you're gonna get with the most disc capacity. It's easy to navigate around the course, and the height of the seat, perfect for a rest spot. Also easy to transport in your vehicle from spot to spot. If you're like me and you carry a lot of discs, this is the cart for you.
It's Simon's throw, 2 behind our leader.
Driving pro tip. That's a sick roll. Birdie. 1 down, 1 to go. And it just started raining.
Test of strategy, timing, and karma. Do you have what it takes? Order your game today.
Discraft built for flight. Built for flight.
Andrew Presnell, defending champion. Did it in style last year, huh? In Presnell style. He sure did.
4 days at that course. What a win.
What a mental battle.
Unbelievable. And as Sexton said, he lost his putter about 5-6 holes into the round, the final round, and still stuck it out. He really kind of won in pretty convincing fashion as well. I saw Andrew before the tournament. I said, "So, defending champion, how's that feel?" He goes, "Yeah, it feels a little weird," but pretty cool. That was a real career moment for Andrew last year. Guy's been playing disc golf for a long time, so we were all very proud to see him walk away with the title.
Amos, T of 8. Got that OB pond short and right, as well as in the pampas grass is also OB.
Just needs to be long enough.
Gets the right flag. Love to see that. McBeth, TM2. California native Paul McBeth. Only the 7th major in California. No, not even California. It's the West Coast.
Yeah, I believe it's only the 3rd official major in California over the long history of professional majors.
We were talking, you guys have probably played more majors in Japan than you have on the West Coast, which is it's pretty silly. You guys are both from the West Coast.
It's crazy. I can't say that anyone is to blame, but it somehow feels criminal still that the West Coast is so low, considering disc golf was born in California, considering that a lot of the greatest players of all time are California natives. I'm glad to see a major here, and I hope we get more in the coming years.
Beautifully done by McBeth. He'll have that for birdie. Speaking of birdies, Adam Hammis on 8.
All that grass behind him is out of bounds. That's why I was a little bit worried as it skips around the corner. It is possible to kind of trickle back into the OB. He did have the correct weight on the shot, though, and has this left. Just low right.
12, about 50 feet or so away from the basket, I think.
Calvin Heimberg is your OTB defending champion. Has the most Elite Series wins without a major win.
Is,
Hi, Matt. We see you.
Not happy about this tournament taking.
Simon, Anton, Barella, Hammis. There's some names on here, huh?
A lot of names that are looking to get off this list.
That is the goal, isn't it?
But yeah, it's again, you would think that these guys would all get there over that line eventually, but nobody's promised anything in this game, so you got to earn it. Heimberg and Lazat just have to be aching to get that feather in their cap to get that major win.
Speaking of majors, there's one on that hat right there.
Would you like to introduce yourself to the card?
I was just about to. Yeah, thank you, Andy.
Simon also
Guys,
looking for
I'll be
his
your
first
marshal on the
major.
card today. If you have any questions, please refer to the caddy book.
You also saw Adam Hammis on that list, throwing his drive on 9. Second shot for McMahon on 2. This is old hole 18 from last year.
You can see his tee shot got a bunch of distance. He was barely in that corner, but so far up the fairway, just a standstill. Great shot there from Eagle.
And Eagle started with the birdie as well on 1. Is that 10 going to hold up on the day, you think?
Maybe if the wind picks up, but I'm inclined to say no. I think it's lead card material, but I think we're probably going to see ourselves in 11 or 12.
Yeah, I'm generally wrong in most things here when it comes to guessing, but I agree with you. I think that's going to be near, lead card, if not on the lead card. We got some really good players out on the course. The conditions are great. We were just outside. I mean, it was a little windy this morning. We were seeing some of the temperature shifts, but as it stands right now, mild winds, great warm temperatures. We should see these low scores.
Let's head to 1 for your feature card. John Toby doing the announcing here. Huge thanks to him and the whole Champions Cup crew.
Let's send out our final grouping today. First on the tee box, from Ozark, Missouri, the reigning Champions Cup champion, Andrew Presnell. Next on the tee box, from Urbandale, Iowa, Gannon Burr.
So Gannon's going to be looking to get this flat. Even a slight flip is kind of good for you here. He just wants roughly 400 feet down that left side, not a lot of skip action. So you hear him say get down because he's a little bit worried about the skip. It does check for him.
Going third, from Safety Harbor, Florida, Calvin Heimberg. And completing this group, from Germany, Simon Lazat.
Simon kind of struggled with this roller yesterday during the President's Cup. He's going back to it, though.
It's an interesting play, the roller, because these rollers, the ones we've seen so far, they're not aggressive rollers. They're actually just position rollers. You can see both of the ones we saw were got down to the ground relatively quickly and flipped relatively quickly. I think if you get too aggressive, you find that pinch point you were talking about. So just position plays. It's interesting because I think Simon could have just thrown a backhand to where his disc, you know, just kind of a mid-range down there.
Totally true, Nate. Yeah. Wonderfully done by Nicholas on 18 with his, or 18, old 18, new 2 with his second. Hammis throwing 2 on 9.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Both you and I, Sexton, are big fans of the roller, but sometimes they're unnecessary.
Yeah, that's time and a place, right?
Yeah.
Birdie putt for McMahon. That's a 2-for-2 start for Eagle.
I mean, he's won the OTB Open before.
Mm-hmm. You gotta love his chances, especially with a nice start. There's Paul back to even on the day. Bogey birdie start. Nicholas, his birdie. And that was a Rathbone birdie as well. Our man Nate Perkins. How's the weather feeling down there, Mr. Perkins? The wind picking up from this morning and kind of stable? What's it feel like?
Yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit more. I think it's supposed to increase over the rest of the afternoon. Right now for the approaches on 1, it's just a gentle headwind, a little bit of right to left right there. Press is pretty far back, a little bit further than we just saw Paul throw from. He's flattened it out. It's getting back to Heiser. Will it get a skip? It won't. Pretty dud skip right there, so he's going to be out there at 45 feet.
Consolation prize is inbounds, though, at least. Thank you, Perkins.
So, fun fact about the defending champion, Andrew Presnell, this is his very first tournament in the state of California. Yes, that was another thing we talked about. He said, yeah, that's the first time. And it's not his first time on the West Coast because he's played in Oregon a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The Beaver State and Portland Open, but first time here in California.
Another turnover for Heimberg with his second. Finds a late tree.
And wasn't the same true of Kristen Tatar? First California start?
That's right, yeah. She went out and enjoyed the redwoods before she made her way here. Really cool. Antala. Tee of 3. This is old hole 2.
Looking to work the disc out to the left. Open up your angle to get into the green. I think he's done pretty well there. There is an OB line over there, so you have to be, a bit measured about how you do it, but looking to get some distance, set up a good angle.
Back to 1 for Simon's second.
It's pretty high. But it finds its way home.
Good start for Simon. Eagle, 3. Nothing wrong with that for Eagle. A very long birdie look for Adam Hammis on 9.
Yeah, I think his second shot was pretty close to conceding par. We'll see if he can find a way.
My
but
goodness.
He was out of position. I think making a smart play. Obviously, in a major, it's even more true than your average tournament. A marathon, not a sprint. You have these 4 rounds. I think a good, mature decision, despite the chain out on the previous hole, for him to kind of lay back and not attack from a risky position.
Perkins, what do you make of this line here for Burr?
Yeah, I like it. I thought initially that tree was going to be in the way, but I mean, he's really comfortable with this flex right here, and that's exactly what it's asking for. Oh, and he's turfed it, guys. About as big of a miss as you're going to see from Gannon, and he's checking his footing. I think he kind of slipped into that shot a bit.
Oh, wow. Did see that coming. Thank you, Nate.
Easy par. Let's take a look at the feet here, because that was how Gannon reacted. I didn't see much in the feet there. I don't know about you, Sexy. I mean, it looks pretty solid.
If anything, it's the back toe maybe catching a bit more.
Yeah, you can see the back toe sort of kind of flip a little bit. And as it's coming out, you see that toe kind of wiggle. That might have been a little bit of slip. But ultimately, that's probably what did it for him. It just too low, and the angle was flat, and grass caught it.
And you can discover the difference at Disc Golf Deals USA with pictures, scaled weights of every disc, same-day shipping, rewards on every purchase, and expert reviews and comparisons. Your game, our passion. And that's over at Disc Golf Deals. Nice pickup, guys. The little toe.
I don't know if that's what did it, but his front foot sure looked solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, it went slightly down. Maybe a little hole there that you just couldn't see. There are a ton of ground squirrels. What a nice shot there by Gannon. There's hundreds of ground squirrels out here.
Yes. And it makes sense to me because I would say on the forehand, if you do slip that front foot, you're more likely to sky the shot. It's not necessarily going to be a turf. It's like if you slide out, your weight goes back.
Right.
And you're going to throw the disc too high. So I don't think the issue was with the plant foot.
Yeah.
Almost made a 3 the fun way, though, huh?
Yeah, he did. He's not looking for any excitement. Don't roll anymore, he says.
Heimberg's second was not great. He's out in the fairway for this birdie look. Oh, my goodness. Huge make.
Pizza delivery early in the round.
70-footer?
Yeah, that was legitimately the fairway.
And you can tell how much this means to Calvin by the way he walked it in there. He's ready to come and play, man. That's a beautiful putt.
Wow. A monster make to start the round. Can Presnell match that putt? Ooh, you'll love the effort, but swings it wide. Getting big putted from the fairway, man. Wow. No one plays Swenson better than Calvin.
You know, one of the things about Calvin, specifically for the OTB Open last year, is that it was a battle with Rathbun. You know, Calvin didn't go into the final round in the lead. He had to come from behind, and he was able to do it. You certainly think that if we get to Sunday and Calvin's at or near the lead, he's going to have those memories of doing that on this property. That goes a long way to winning potentially your first major. So, you know, that he's got that in his back pocket if he can put himself in position 3 days from now.
How about Simon making a nice putt as well? Also looking for his first major. Tap in pars for Burr and Presnell.
Yeah, when I think about Calvin, I think, you know, all of us know him to be a phenomenal low ceiling kind of power thrower. And a lot of the challenge of this course comes from the low ceilings. That's a lot of how the distance is made to feel long. A lot of the throws you have to really get on top of and get 450 feet under 10 feet of ceiling. And that's like Calvin's a shot. That's like what he does better than anybody. So no surprise to me that he's found success here, because he is just so phenomenally powerful on those low-driven point-to-point shots.
That was a really nice second from McMahon, looking like he will start 3 for 3.
And I've just missed the McMahon forehand.
Right? It's nice
so
to have it
nice
back.
to have it back, because he dealt with so much injury, a couple of years where he wasn't really able to go to that shot. One of the most powerful forehand throwers I've ever personally seen.
The Antila approach catches a funny reaction. We'll have a clean putt in circle 2 at least.
I think it's almost a positive, because there's a lot of cabbage over there.
Yeah, it really
that
is.
little rollout going to give him at least unobstructed.
We're on hole 10 with Adam Hammis.
This is a little bit of an out-of-bounds carry to start, so you're looking for sort of a drifting turnover with just a little bit of bite on the end. And there's your drift, and here comes your bite.
Yeah, you just have to avoid going long of the middle fairway. And there's an out-of-bounds back there. It's not totally right up on those trees, but you want to kind of be in that middle fairway so you have that good look.
Yeah, the way you find that out of bounds is when you don't get the flip.
Exactly.
And you accidentally just throw it flat.
Yeah. Rathbun with the roller with his
Oh,
second
off
off
a
the
cart.
cart.
It touched the cart, did it not?
Definitely, it definitely glanced off the
Yes.
cart.
Wow.
I think it would have been cosser without the cart hit, honestly.
Yeah.
That still had
I
life
think
in it.
I don't know that I'd lay down a roller with a cart right there. I think
Yeah.
I'd be asking somebody to move.
Heimberg.
Love that.
Yeah, that is huge.
Sometimes Rathbun plays so fast. I don't have even seen it.
Oh, he
just steps up and goes.
I've had to apologize to him a number of times, and he's always very like, oh, it doesn't matter to me. But sometimes I'll be like, still feel like I'm watching my shot, and he's on the tee ripping his.
Simon next on 2. Got a little lettuce. I wonder if that's enough for the corner.
So with the A pin here on hole 2, and I guess we should say that they're playing A pins here the first 2 days, and then they'll play B pins, a completely set of different challenges come the weekend.
It changes 10 holes.
Yeah, it changes 10 holes. The A pin, you can attack from short of the corner. As we get to the weekend, that B pin, you really can't get to it if you don't get to the corner. So Simon's going to be in a maybe position, but there's a lot of out of bounds up there. Presnell's probably right at the edge of being pretty good.
Burr next tee on 2.
It's a long tunnel shot here. Now, we talked about how good Calvin is with that low power. It's a long tunnel shot, but then you have a corner of out of bounds. Even if you pured it, you could potentially go out of bounds long. So a lot of factors here. Good bounce off the trees there. That keeps him out of the thick stuff.
The last 3 major trees on this fairway shot for this hole are right at 350, 400, and 450. So you kind of have a little bit of a gauge.
Yeah.
I'd say the 400 one is at the corner.
Yes.
So then if you're by that first one of those 3 big trees, you're probably having to do something pretty special.
On hole 3, Antila, circle 2 for birdie. To start 3 for 3 as well.
Woo, just top shelf and in.
The Elite Series was cool, but the Finnish Cowboy wants a major, boys. What a great start. Let's roll back this Zuka.
It would be impossible to imagine that Antila is not insanely confident right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he knows he can win. That doubt has been taken away. Of course, it's still a matter of winning a major championship. But that being said, Antila is prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And this course plays right into his game. He can avoid the big mistakes. He's a good putter. He doesn't have supersonic distance, but he's got the pop. And so
second for Hammis on 10. Shaping.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, it does. I think as we look forward to our next major, the Worlds in Finland, I have to think there's never been a player in the world with more people rooting for him or her to take this thing down than Antila will be encountering as he goes in as kind of the champion of Finnish hopes. And really with a legitimate shot to get it done on home soil. It kind of gives me goosebumps thinking about where we're going to be in a couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, I've performed at the Worlds in my hometown. It was not easy. In fact, it was the most challenging tournament I ever competed in. That being said, there's something nice about the whole world rooting for you as far as the fandom, you know, and really all of Finland will be on the Finnish side for sure.
Simon is short of the corner here, gents.
He is. He can barely see the big tree that's short left of the pin. This is a risky shot here for Simon.
Really nice and tight on the corner. Almost certainly going to be in bounds.
Yeah, it looks like he's out in the fairway, though. Maybe circle 2.
He did a nice job at missing on the proper side. There's so much more space over there to the right. He really would have gotten in trouble had he let that disc drift back to the left and find that out of bounds. I think he did a good job giving himself a long look at birdie.
McBeth bounced back from the bogey on 1 nicely with back-to-back birdies. Here he is on the tee of 4. Challenging tee shot. I guess not.
Just barely snuck it past that center tree. Beautiful shot.
That line is so tight on 4.
It really is.
Leonard doing a great job of bringing some woods golf onto the golf course. Presnell's second.
Pretty close to an ideal drive. Basket you can see just beyond that big tree left side of your screen in the sunlight.
Not bad at all from Presnell into the circle. I'll have that to get on the board today. Back to 4, Antala. Burr throwing 2 on 2.
So if Presnell was in a pretty close to ideal position, Burr was in an absolutely ideal position.
I'm actually surprised he's that far up because remember his was the one that overturned and kicked
hit
out.
off the
I thought he
branches.
would be shorter, but the
I
guy
agree.
throws the disc fast. So
Yes.
it got up there in a hurry.
And it was kind of just a bounce. It kind of just kept going, bouncing.
Yeah, Burr throws about 10 to 15 miles an hour faster than Presnell.
You're right about that.
That thing is moving. Heimberg, his second on 2. That should be good enough. Crowd thinks so. McMahon, early tree on 4, throwing his second now. We'll clean up par. 3 down through 4 for McMahon. Adam Hammis to get to 6-4 off the lead of Nieminen. Adam looking really solid. I feel like Adam's turned a mental page these last couple of years, guys. You know, he used to kind of
Sure.
give up on rounds, but his resilience these days is incredible.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's the difference between kind of a rookie and a 20-year-old on the tour. And
Yeah.
now, I don't know what he is, 24, 25, settled into his place in the game, a little more comfortable out on the road. It's just a maturity thing.
Yeah,
He's
fo-
definitely turned the corner.
4 Elite Series wins will do that to you as well. I mean, you've proven that you can do it to yourself more than the rest of the world. Guys, I was just looking at Cole Redalen's scorecard. Cole Redalen in 3rd place by himself currently, 7 under par, just 3 pars on his card. He started with a bogey and rattled off 7 birdies in a row before getting his first par. What a day by Cole.
Wow.
Heimberg. This was a little shorter than I thought it was. Birdie putt, though. He's putting like that early, boys. What's that, 100 feet of putting already through 2 holes? At least?
Looking good, man.
Wow.
It
It's
makes
the
me
Achilles
think
heels of him. for
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. It makes me think, he's so stoic when he's playing. How many 70-footers in a row do you think he'd have to hit before his arms went above his head? I think it's 3. I think he would just coldly make back-to-back 70s.
That's a definite, yeah. Presnell to match that birdie and avoid the big putt. Nicely done.
I think even he's got to laugh and show some emotion if he hits 3 70s in a row. We'll see. Maybe it'll happen today.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Burr, short birdie work here. And that gets Burr on the board after his par start. Par for Simon on 2. Adam Hammis, tee of 11.
One of the signature holes here at the OTB course at Swenson.
I was thinking about you sexing in your X-Cal on this one. Just ripping it out there.
That's right.
I would definitely trade my play for this play right here. Much better shape and gets in there about circle's edge.
Does he run the putt? You'll find out on the other side of this break. See you there.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket, and each of them have a consistent grip. So as you cycle through the series, you won't have to change the way that you hold the disc. These are torque-resistant discs that are more stable than the PA series, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself. What's going on, guys? Hold My Bag just launched the greatest disc golf fantasy game in the universe.
Hold My Bag just dropped the best fantasy disc golf game the planet has ever seen.
I want to tell you guys about the newest disc golf fantasy game on the market.
One of my favorite parts is the Hold My Bag. This is something that we started doing, and it's actually a lot of fun.
Hallo, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Welcome back to the Champions Cup. That's Paul McBeth dropping in the birdie after that beautiful drive. And finds himself at 2 under. That's a par for McMahon. You saw the first 2 there. And we were talking about Cole Rodolin. Here is that scorecard. 3 pars, huh?
That's so wild. You know, that start, he gets back going, he's killing it, and then 3 bogeys in a row.
Yeah.
But then to just shake that off and get the next 4.
I mean, certainly you can go to bed knowing you're a couple adjustments away from something pretty special.
Heimberg, tee of 3.
Wasn't it just shocking to hear Niemanen? I mean, he's a few adjustments off of just shooting an 1800.
Yeah, for sure. Circle 2 on every hole, basically.
I mean, his putt was feeling terrible, 10 for 10. It was an interesting interview. Great round.
Your Zenny flyovers in your bottom right. If you want to check that out, you also got coupon code DGPT for 10% off your order over at Zenny. Presnell.
This needs to hurry left. Pretty good skip.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the few holes that does not have an A or B placement. They will play this hole all 4 rounds. So checking the flyover is what we're going to see the entirety of the tournament. And it's a pretty good par 4. I love the finish. One of the more protected, pretty greens on the course here.
What do you make of the course change here on 3? They took away the Mando, added those trees outright.
Trying to encourage this line right here. It was, I think, the idea. Trying to get people to play the hyzer flip, take the backhand, challenge the bushes up there a little bit more, get a little bit more aggressive. And it looks like Gannon's up for the challenge, though I'm not sure he's going to like the result. Just got the nose up a little too much.
Lizotte next.
He's frustrated with that flip because that's going to take him out of position. It really needs to move left. He's going to have really not much play unless he wants to get crazy with some kind of roller to get to the basket.
Second shot for Antala on the par 5 fifth.
Roller, a very popular option here. This is aggressive. Does it stay out of the bushes? Yeah, I think, assuming he has some kind of run-up, that's a positive shot. I mean, he's going to be inside 400.
Hammis, we saw the drive before the break. Now the birdie putt if he wants it. It's in circle 1. You got to run this, right?
Yeah, he wants it.
Okay.
Whew, just inches from that disastrous skip off the top. Good confidence to go at it aggressively.
Early tree hit for Burr means this is a very long second.
Yeah, there's absolutely zero chance of making birdie from where Burr was. He's roughly 600 feet from the basket.
That little roll into the bushes isn't going to help either.
No.
Yeah. At least he does have go-go gadget legs.
Because ideally you would be throwing a sidearm on your third even, as it kind of works nicely to kind of get just back into that corner.
Yeah, he won't have that.
He won't have that arm swing even with the long legs.
On 5 again for McBeth, also going.
Yeah,
roller.
Heavy cut, but that's not necessarily bad if it can eventually flip. Just looking to chew up distance. I think the angle will be more awkward than what Niklas is going to have, but we will see.
On the same McMahon.
Kind of a scary.
He didn't make it out, did he?
Lie. I mean, he's really far forward. Lie. He's going to go giant turnover. Oh, man.
Whoa.
Not many guys could pull that off. With the tight constraint of that tree in the swing, he had to go so steep with hyzer, and to be able to throw it that high and turn it.
Second for Simon.
Yeah, so I would say surprisingly aggressive from that location. And does he pay the price of a red flag?
Yes. Let's see the line.
Perkins, can you fill us in on that Simon Lizotte second there?
Yeah, that tree kicked it straight into a nose-up hyzer. He's 15 feet left to that OB line.
Oof. It's going to be a big number.
I would have just loved to have seen Simon go to the sidearm there, play it, get himself out there in that 100, 150-foot mark, play the hole for par. I think that was really a big mental mistake. More than even the tree. It's just mentally it was the improper shot. I mean, had it worked out, of course, you could have the other conversation, but safer play was the sidearm.
Heimberg, turnover, can get all the way there? You think this might be a roller?
I don't think he's going to roll it.
Yeah, he doesn't often. This needs to settle.
Oh, bad kick. He's wondering, we're wondering.
Perkins, have you seen any flags down there for Calvin?
Yeah, I think that the OB kind of straightens out. I think he's going to be safe right there, but yeah, I'm also wondering where that last flag kind of wraps around.
I certainly couldn't see any flags or paint, so that leads me to believe he's probably safe.
Presnell's second is beautifully shaped into the green.
Very nice shot.
Oh, wow.
Presnell playing the hole like Leonard Muse designed you to play the hole.
What a fantastic angle control to just land it on that soft slide under the ceiling.
And for a guy that hasn't played in California before, that was a very California shot.
Yeah.
Come in about 30 short, let the hard pan do the rest of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job by Prez.
Untala and his third on 5.
I think it's an interesting position for Presnell as the defending champion because no disrespect. And wow, he went through the crux of the tree there. No disrespect to Presnell, but I don't think a lot of people think he's going to defend. So I would kind of use that as motivation to say, I want to prove everybody wrong here.
Hole 12, Adam Hammis. 4 off the lead. Getting a goose raz.
Sexton, is this one of the most intimidating water carries on tour?
I think it is. I think for a lot of these guys, it's kind of a nothing, but if you have that kind of power and you can just take it out right. But if you're not throwing consistently over 500, it certainly gives you something to think about, especially if there's any kind of wind that's unfavorable. Wow, Gannon is going to be able to swing the forehand. It looked like it got in there deeper than that.
Not a clean swing, though. A little tickle on the backswing there. Wow. Great third from Gannon.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yet, you know, just yet again proving us wrong.
Well, you called the go-go gadget legs, Nate, to be fair.
That was right.
Yeah, that was
no
right.
arguing.
McBeth on 5. That looks like circle 2.
It's just not an obvious angle in from over there because of those last Guardian trees. McMahon's way up here, though. This is maybe as far as I've ever seen anybody in 2, and not even using a roller to get it done.
That second was huge.
Never flexes back for him, but circle's edge.
Simon and his 4th. Oh. Nice little band-aid approach for 5 there at least.
Oh, that's such a cute little snow. Where'd you come from, buddy? You're lost.
Is that like a young Canada goose? You know, hasn't colored up yet, or is that a different one? You guys
I
goose
think it's
specialists?
just-
I'm going to vote different one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would vote albino or it's just a completely different breed.
Calvin was safe, thank you, Perkins, for the update in our ear. And looks like he just laid out for par. Presnell for birdie.
I think with regard to Presnell and his title defense, you know, I think he probably doesn't give himself a great chance. He wants to do the best he can, but there's a couple kinds of major winners in the game of disc golf. The majority of guys that have multiple time majors are guys like you that spent significant time at the #1 player in the world that are stacking up these wins. And then you got maybe me a little on the other side of the spectrum where, you know, Presnell's not been a top 10 player in the world and may never be in the rankings, but he came through and he played like the man that week and he got it done, you know, and that's a little bit closer to, you know, I had world ranking in the top 3 for a short period of time, but I was never #1 and I never thought I was going to be #1. So it's a little bit of a different mental game, I think, you know. He's going to be just, I just know he was so thrilled to come through and he's going to just do his best to put on another show.
Yeah. And we talked about it a lot last year. That was really a career moment. The guy had been playing for a long time up to that point. Nice putt by McBeth. He is looking good. Boy, he's one tree kick away on one from really starting perfect.
From perfect, yes.
But yeah, I kind of like the mentality of not being expected to do much, and then you can surprise people.
man, just leaks out on the right side.
Guys like Gannon Burr have to live with the expectation that they're going to win. And so it seems like every week is a disappointment. Now, you get used to that. You get used to living in that world, and you sort of ignore it. But, yeah, I think Presnell, if he plays well, he could certainly give himself a good opportunity. And he's got the defending champion bump, where you get that little bit of something, that little feel.
Yes. Rathbun on the board with a nice birdie. Hammis, second on 12. You saw the drive a few moments ago.
In the par 4 traditional A location, so he's playing for birdie here, looking for a bit of a skip. Now it needs to sit. Crowd leads me to believe it was sitting pretty obviously and pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe it came up short based on what he just said.
Yeah,
that's a hard green to read.
Is. Yeah, and he was pretty far back still too.
Presnell should be in the home on hole 4 with the woods, but not so much. Heimberg. That is a tight line, gents.
I mean, that tree is just waiting for you. You certainly can't afford to yank it on the wrong side of the Mando.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to kind of err a little bit. We saw McBeth park it, but he, to my eye, he missed that tree by about 3 inches.
And really, our camera angle is not showing a second mandatory. There is, so the one you see directly there, that's the first Mando. There's a second Mando. So you can't just bail way out left. You have to go straight. Now you can twist around this first one and you're all good, just like this. If you can get through, this is beautiful. It's going to be a little long. And those logs right there are actually the B location come the weekend. So nice shot there by Gannon.
Yeah, they're only about 40 feet apart, the two locations, subtly different, and then obviously the elevation makes a big difference, especially if the wind comes up, but he'll want to remember that shot for the weekend.
Simon.
There you go. Oh, this is perfect. Just perfect.
Nicely done. As they make their way up the fairway, we're going to sneak in a quick break on the network. We are back in 60, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Experience is the greatest teacher, and I'm so blessed after 40 years and 150 so courses, every project I'm still learning. I think when you get down to it, a lot of it is about vision. There's the vision for individual holes. There's the vision for the property and what it can become as a course and what it can become as a venue. And then there's the vision for what disc golf can become.
Presnell caught that early tree, throwing his second now.
Gonna have to work a little bit. That was a significant amount of distance he had left, and a little bit of extra length there.
Triple Mando on 6 for McBeth.
Oh, that's great. There's not many better feelings on a disc golf course than when you're staring down a triple Mando and it comes off your hand and you're like, that's through. You know, you're
it's
like,
such a good feeling.
It feels so great to know you just popped it through there and it's going to be heading right for the basket. Such a stressful shot.
Yeah, I remember the clown's mouth, all these years ago out in Rock Hill.
Yes.
And when you hit it, it was just the best feeling, as you said.
When it comes off and it's obvious, like that one McBeth just threw where you're like, yeah, we're good. As soon as you let it go.
And that one's 180 from the tee.
Yes.
That's a good shot.
Adam Hammis for birdie on 12. Sneaks it in. Nicely done.
I'm going to say I called that correctly, and Adam just scared me with his negative self-talk.
Yeah.
That shot was great.
Yeah. Burr. Birdie bid. That's a great putt from Gannon. 2 down through 4. And let's roll back a Zucker replay on this.
For me, it's Burr and it's Wysocki, the two guys that make putting look, when they're on, it just looks so easy. I can't believe how easy it and how obvious it looks.
I know, right?
That's another great example and a good putt there from Presnell.
Yeah, great par save after the early tree hit.
But so direct from Gannon Burr when he's got his timing, which is most of the time.
That's a birdie for Simon. And Heimberg walking to a par putt.
I know we talk a lot about the power that's required here out at Swenson Park, but really it's that circle 2 putting, that edge of circle 1 into circle 2. It's such a big course, especially once we start to see some wind out here. The guys who can make those extra putts are going to be the ones that really move their way up the leaderboard.
And we talk about putting courses, throwing courses.
Yeah.
Where does this land on your list?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I just think a pure distance thrower is going to certainly have a great advantage on some of these longer holes, but I think a lot of big putts have to be made. I mean, the way that Nieminen performed today is not the average. You know, you don't see somebody get into circle 2 that many times.
Look at this right here.
Yeah.
From Jacob Curtis. Speaking of California natives, 5 in a row right now and at 8 under already. One of the best rounds, the beginnings of one of the best rounds I've ever seen him play.
Hammis, 13. This one places a par 3 for the men. Island green. Drop zone with a miss.
Nice height, nice angle.
Yeah, that's
nice result.
Yep. Sits it down.
The triple nice.
Yes, it is.
Birdie putt for Antala on 6.
Wow.
That one
incredible.
Hung in the balance right there. Slides home beautifully.
The entire way it looked left.
Oh, man, that was cool.
It just barely drifted straight enough at the end. I mean, this is his putting style, of course, but that just looks left to me.
Yes, it does.
It
is left. But look at that teeter-totter back in. He can't believe it. What a highlight.
I can't believe it, but he'll take it. McBeth. After the bogey on 1, he has birdied the rest through 6. That's a man looking for 19, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Burr.
This is the long par 5. You'd like to work the tee shot just out there into the sun, right of that tree line. That's kind of the ideal position. So if you can punch one through that biggest gap, get under those trees.
Just hit it.
Yeah, a little trimming.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of distance. All of a sudden, birdie becomes in question.
I would say for most, but you know, he's just free to fire on that next shot. You know, he can go all the way to 600 if he wants to. So it's as risk-free a second as you're going to have on this property if you get out into that field. So we'll see how aggressive he gets, but
I agree.
It's certainly opportunity to really turn it up to 11 on that second shot.
I believe Simon caught a tree on the way out there.
Simon his stroke is not pure. the moment. He did have a good one on the last hole, but several just kind of execution errors for Simon.
Presnell. Okay, here's Zenny flyover in the bottom right. If you want to take a look at the entirety of the hole.
Yeah, you really don't want to allow it to go that far left. You just bring so many more trees into play on that second shot. As you said, Sexton, being out in that golf fairway is really critical, because then it does free you up for just full power. If you go too far left, you just kind of bring unnecessary trees into play.
Heimberg finds a gap out nicely. Another classic Heimberg low line drive. So good at those.
Yeah, he'll like that position.
Hammes for birdie on 13. You saw the drive a few moments ago. This is to tie Cupcake at 8. Great putt. That is third place already for Adam Hammes. Just 2 off the lead. He's got 5 to go in the round. Back to 7, McBeth.
Fairly short par 4. You can make this first gap, you're liking it. And Paul has done that emphatically.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think, as he did, but I think he needs to be a little bit more left to fully free up the second shot.
Nicholas?
You'd like to kind of see it finishing a lot more left, because this next row of trees is certainly going to be a factor for these two fellows.
Oh, look at that.
Now, of course, the sidearm and all those things are in play, but if you can get it left, you can free up the angle.
Back to 5 for Burr and his second.
Could be 80 miles an hour right here.
Yeah.
Big roller. Probably carrying 300. Stay out of there. Okay, that'll work. He'd like to hold cut a little longer, push beyond that bush, but he's in position to certainly make an approach for birdie putt.
Simon is out of position here, Nate.
Yeah, he is. He's going to have to get creative, but sometimes I think that's what he really likes the most anyway.
That's his middle name.
Crazy roller coming?
Certainly could be. Or just, yeah, the huge sailing turnover.
Perkins, Perkins, what did we get out of Simon right there for his second on 5?
Yeah, it was a solid 5-15. He's up on the left side, and he's wide open for his next approach. He has a little bit of an upslope to deal with, but he's still in play.
Okay, thank you. So it sounds like just a massive air shot.
Yeah, one of the things that's very difficult, especially when you're throwing rollers, is to throw around a corner and still try to throw a cut power roller.
Presnell second.
I think low likelihood of a C1 from there, but not impossible. He's probably left himself 410 or thereabouts to the green.
Heimberg, his second.
He's attacking Eagle McMahon's record as farthest we've seen in 2.
Whoa.
I think he might have taken it.
And remember, I mean, Eagle was not in that ideal position. He had to throw that weird understable, a lot of hyzer. Calvin was in that full green light, got a lot of distance.
An overhead look at the hole. You see the card at the top left up there. Basket's bottom left. And let's go back to Adam Hammis, 14.
One of the simplest holes, I'd say, on the course. Beautiful green, beautiful tree trunk here to go under to begin with, but just 378, finishing right. Just sort of a stock Adam Hammis forehand is what I'm going to expect here if he can get this swinging. He doesn't do it. Just missed the gap. The basket you can see near that really big oak.
It's really cool green up there.
It is a nice green.
Antala's second.
You can see how this far right, this set of trees that we're looking at is what comes into play. If they're able to throw a much bigger, higher hyzer and finish left, you can see how clear it is on that left side.
Yeah, that would open up the forehand much better.
That's what we saw from Adam, right? When he was on here?
Exactly.
Yeah. Presnell throwing his third on 5. Perkins, can you speak to what the gang are looking at for their third shots here on 5?
Yeah, Prez he's got a lot left right here. I think he's probably 440 to the pin. He's got a window on the right side, and that's just low to start. Oh, gets a good little skip, but still outside of C2. And I think next up will be Simon off on that left side. Has a little bit of a headwind left to right from his direction, and he's going to be playing up that kind of left fairway. Yeah, so he's got a little bit of an upslope right here on this run up. Front foot gonna finish just a touch higher than the back foot. Has to kind of start this on Annie and try and swing it just underneath the last oak. Clean swing. Needs to dip now, needs to dip. Yeah, it's gonna catch that oak and keep him at 45 feet.
Okay. Thank you, Perkins.
Yeah, that footing was definitely a problem there, Perkins. Simon really had to just kind of upper body that shot.
Back on 7, McBeth throwing his second.
Pretty well done to give him about a 40-foot uphill look.
The man hasn't missed a putt in a while either. Putter's looking good. Adam Hammis had that early tree hit on 14, just trying to get up and down for par now. Should be good enough for one of those.
I think Adam's tee shot was just a little too high. You really want to just keep it low. Don't bring those branches into play at all. Allow the ground play, the skip, to really bring it up to the basket.
Back to 5, Burr, his third from the corner.
Expect a flex shot here. Does it stay clean? Yes, it does. Just to the edge of the circle.
I'm always so worried watching a player run up to a disc that's upside down. Because even if you just hit the very edge, there goes your foot. I think for a lot of the players listening out there at home, mark a disc if it lands upside down. It's just that safer.
You know, little pro tips from a world champion. It never hurt, Nate. Take them.
You don't expect a foot fault, but if you did in that situation,
yeah,
it could certainly take an injury.
This is so far up in 2 shots.
This is ridiculous. He's throwing like a mid. Wow. Impressive stuff from Calvin.
Going back to 7 again. Birdie putt for Nicholas. Almost did it again, huh?
It's a hard one to send because there is out of bounds behind this basket from that angle.
Ben Calloway, he's on 18 for par. Looks like the second got away from him, OB.
Watching it for a reason. Bam! What a putt.
Ben.
What a great angle as well. You can see the distance. You saw AB make one of those in the President's Cup yesterday, about 60 feet.
McBeth just outside the circle for this birdie bid.
Sit, and it does. Good commitment again with the OB behind.
Yeah, what would you say OB distance-wise behind here, Sexton?
I would guess about 15.
Yeah, and it does slope away to it. So anything off the top is a likelihood of being OB.
Back on 5, Presnell lays up for par. Does that well. Got Simon just inside the fairway for this birdie bid. Maybe about 10 feet inside that line.
An important putt here for Simon. Needs a little confidence. He's made some mistakes so far. This could be a nice boost. And just really not even a great effort from that distance.
Par putt for Hammis on 14.
I find the design out here at Swenson to be sort of a refreshing mix of like the really OB heavy stressful golf that we generally play. The field is so good now that that's something that designers kind of have to lean pretty heavy on, I think, to get scoring separation. But this course has a lot of that, but it also has a lot of shots where you literally can't go OB.
Oh yeah.
And I find that refreshing, that we get to see the full send, and it kind of oscillates between those two situations as you're playing this course.
It behooves you to do your homework, huh?
Yes.
Burr, birdie look just outside the circle.
Some of the stronger wind we've seen so far today.
Before that, we saw McMahon get back on the birdie train. He's 4 down through 7. Burr, 3 down through 5. And back-to-back birdies for the first time today for Gannon. Rolling back Azuka. Don't mind if we do. Heimberg, birdie putt as well. Also to go 3 down through 5. Couple birdies, couple pars from our feature card on 5. There's one of the pars from Simon. Be followed by the Presnell version. Andrew 2 under, Simon 1 under through 5. And if you're tuned in a little late and you're watching on YouTube, you can watch Disc Golf Network free all weekend long if you're a PDGA member. Scan that QR code, enter your info, and you'll be watching for free all weekend long. Tons of disc golf action coming your way. McMahon, hole 8.
Wow. Around the corner, very similar to the Hammis shot we saw earlier.
On the same, Montala.
Hole 8 is where the players come back around near the lake section here, and you can certainly hear and see some of the wind around the pond just whipping up a little bit more.
Also on 8, Paul McBeth.
There's that late flip up, but not quite enough of it.
There's a putt there. Tee of 15, Adam Hammis. Another slightly errant forehand from Adam will likely lead to another par.
Yeah, back-to-back disappointing tee shots for him on holes that I feel he's really well suited for. So I don't expect to see him continue to struggle on those two holes.
They're both playing under par too by a decent amount. Third stroke for both.
Yeah, looking a little bit deeper down the leaderboard, we're starting to see some of the names we've been following. One of the names up on that first page was Isaac Robinson, the champion from 2 years ago here at the Champions Cup.
James Proctor, 5 down through 11.
Proctor playing
backhand
well.
only.
Absolutely. Still kind of looking for the name of Ricky Wysocki. Just kind of seeing what he's doing. As we all know, Ricky is still trying to find a major. It's been several years.
That rumbles into circle 1 for Gannon Burr through the triple Mando nicely.
Yeah, Ricky down there. Ricky's played 8 holes. He's 1 under par. He's got 2 bogeys.
Wow.
So definitely a disappointing day. A lot of work is going to need to be done by Ricky here over the next couple of hours.
Yeah. The guys will get away from you quick on that
Yes.
pace.
Yeah, considering that Yesse is at, 10. So the triple Mando here, 180 feet from the front of the tee to the triple Mando. Triple Mando's about 22 feet across. It's about 12 feet high as well.
Driving the course with Leonard Muse, we ran into Drew Gibson on this one. And he's just laying up with a putter to the Mando, throwing it over there.
Wow.
Taking your 3.
Yeah.
Maybe you did the math.
Sure.
Simon.
It certainly doesn't feel like a... Oh, did that slip left?
Yes,
it did.
did. Full miss there.
It doesn't feel like a very attainable turnover. It's much more friendly to just pipe that low forehand through. So
yeah, so really the ground play is so critical.
Yeah.
As long as you just get it through the Mando with some angle, you're gonna skip over towards the basket.
Maybe Presnell can show us how it's done with the backhand.
He turfed it, Doss, and it just cut rolled right and just feeds a beauty, gets the skip into the circle there.
That was lovely. Really technical.
Yeah, they're talking about how many skips. What a recovery.
And that was the ground play that I was alluding to. It's very much hard pan up here. This is not really a part of the golf course. Simon throwing from the drop zone. But with the angle that Calvin was at, to get all the way up into that edge of circle space is pretty good.
It was really cool. Simon moving the wrong way. He's got to slide back to even after this one through 6. It is a 4-round event, though. He's got time to get moving. If he can figure it out quickly.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want to do in a 4-round tournament, or really any tournament, is allow the first 6 holes affect the next 65 or whatever.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, it feels like a disaster when you're playing with guys that are several, strokes under par, but you got to just sort of erase it and try to make some birdies as you head to the clubhouse.
Speaking of birdies, Presnell.
Yeah, he takes the big risk. Going backhand makes it through, and then to not be able to connect. And granted, it was just outside the circle. It's not a gimme by any stretch, but he would really love to be able to cash that in and get some reward for taking a pretty risky play and coming through with it.
Yeah, I just think there's several holes that Prez can't get. And so for him to have missed that putt, which was a great opportunity, really big mistake.
We are working through some issues real quick.
Sullivan Tipton Sully played well in last year's event as well. 6 down today. I think that's a pretty good start.
Jake Mon, yeah.
Playing well. Isaac continuing to bounce up the leaderboard. With another birdie. Isaac just birdied on 16. Currently putting for birdie from circle 1 on 17. So Isaac Robinson playing well. Isaac played really well yesterday in the President's Cup.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he ended up coming down and having a pretty good battle with Simon. It went down to the last hole. He ended up losing the match. But in the stroke play, Isaac Robinson was nearly untouchable.
Yeah, he was dominant. Shot, what, 6 down on those 9 holes?
I think was only bested by AB.
Yeah. It's a par putt for Heimberg after Presnell made his. That was preceded by a birdie from 15 feet. Nice putt from Heimberg. What a par after that drive. That thing was in a terrible spot.
It really was. I did not catch that very well in real time, how much that thing had burned right.
Mm-hmm. Simon, a disappointing bogey. We'll send him back to even. There's your top 10.
Andrew Miranda played 9 holes, 6 under par. It's pretty good as well.
From the central coast of California.
That's right.
Out of Atascadero. I see him when I'm playing the weekly. Thankfully, he doesn't play the weekly anymore. You know, he's kind of like too good. I really appreciate that, Andrew.
You know, the little things, right?
Yeah.
Leave something for the regular.
Exactly.
It's not like you can come out and play Champions Cup. So
yeah. He leaves the small pond for us, thankfully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kid's a certified baller, though. He is fantastic. It's actually his first tournament this year, getting out on tour. Yeah. Or his first pro tour.
I was going to say first elite or major.
Yeah.
He's played a lot of local stuff.
Yeah, he's played some local stuff. He just played out in Oak Grove. And
nice.
Yeah.
Heading over to hole 8 at this point. Hole 8 in the A position, playing as a par 4. During the weekend, I believe it'll move back and be in the traditional par 5 layout. Do I got that wrong, Sexton?
No, I think you have it right. Are you talking? You're talking 7.
Excuse me, 7.
Yeah.
We just played 6, so we're heading over to 7.
Yep.
Which traditionally in the OTB Open is played as a par 5.
And will on the weekend.
And will on the weekend. Today we're playing it as a par 4. That's the one we just saw McBeth playing along with Antila.
McBeth on 8 for birdie. Out in circle 2.
Wow. So solid. Never a doubt. That was a beauty.
More of that, please.
I mean, Paul McBeth's the king of California. He's trying to prove it right now. All those Masters Cups that he took down over all those years, just so impressive.
I think he won Wintertime Open 8 years in a row to start the season. Shouts to Lance Brown for finally taking him down. How about that? Talk about unexpected wins right there.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is that same hole we just saw McBeth out of position, Antila as well, by going a little too straight. So let's see maybe if Gannon can bring a little more overstable and more inside to start for sure. Now can it swing?
And the direction that they're throwing, the traditional wind's going to be a little bit ahead cross off the left. And so I think that is making that more challenging to get it to swing as far left as they'd like to see it go.
Yeah.
So you got to pick something a little bit more stable, but of course you're going to give up some distance with that.
Heimberg. Just piped.
Yeah, but that flip, he's certainly going to be in that low ceiling territory.
Presnell.
That's the best one we've seen so far from an angle perspective.
And cleaning up the box is Simon Lazat.
I just think a lot of these are wind affected. You can see the way that disc is just popping up. Holding it a little bit too straight. So some technical shots upcoming, but still birdie is possible for all 4 men on our lead card.
Simon and caddy Dustin Wolf / photographer making their way down the fairway. Dustin's a great guy. Hey, yes, a number. It's still holding on, guys. We thought it might not, but it's been good so far.
It's looking stronger as the day goes on.
Yeah. Eagles kind of challenging. Antala maybe a little bit, but they're going to need to stay great the rest of the way through. Andrew Miranda, 6 down through 9. Might be on the best pace so far.
Yeah, what Perkins talked about is absolutely true. The wind is becoming a little bit more of a factor as the day pushes on.
A little look at our Zini flyover here on 7.
Yeah, we're playing the A tee, the left side tee, 760-foot par 4. You can see that little OB golf green behind the pin that we were talking about on the McBeth putt earlier, that it plays with your mind a little bit as you're making that uphill run, because if you were to skip off the rim or the top, decent chance you find out of bounds and drop an unnecessary stroke. It's a nice one to get close on because it is up on that little knoll and it has the OB close. So if you can get your drive where Presnell has it, throw a big forehand hyzer or dead straight mid-range, try to slide something up that hill, get a close one, because 760 very manageable from a distance perspective. You're not going to see a lot of par 4s shorter than that these days on a ball golf course at this level.
Here's a great look at the hole from our Flight Factory drone. Reminder over at Zennies, you got coupon code DGPT for 10% off your order. Over at Flight Factory, you got coupon code MAJOR25 for free shipping all weekend long. Presnell with a turnover for his 2nd on 7.
It looked pretty good. Yes.
Wow.
Fantastic. Out of his hand, it drifted right beautifully. Judging the speed and the wind, nice job by Presnell. I'd say that's a bonus shot right there. I think if you give him 10 shots from this position, I don't think he puts very many closer than this.
No, I don't think so. And he's a little bit farther back than I thought, to be honest. That looks to me like nearly a 400-foot shot that he just threw.
Yeah, it was a full send, that's for sure. Disc selection, we don't quite know, but he put everything behind it.
Burr sends a forehand for his 2nd.
See, now here's the trick about Burr. He was a little bit back, so he didn't penetrate on that tee shot. Now, maybe using something a little bit more stable with that headwind, but it opened up the sidearm for him nicely.
McBeth, 2nd on 9. Played the right-hand side of the fairway off the tee, trying to skip this over there. Now it looks like circle 1.
Yeah, clears the golf green. That's well done.
Hammis grabbed his first bogey of the day back on 16, looking for redemption on 17. Placement shot off the tee, water carry around the corner with their 2nd. You prefer to be right, left here?
I think right is nice, but I think you'd also take the distance that a little bit of flip would have given him there. I'm not sure that he isn't hoping for a little drift, because that got right kind of in a hurry, but it will straighten out the angle. It'll let him potentially see the basket.
That's true. But it like you said, a long carry to the pin from there.
Yeah.
Antala, nice putt on 9. He's cooking 5 down. Clean 5 down on the front. Simon, his 2nd on 7. Going way out and around.
Man, with this headwind, this seems like such a tough angle to try to decide on. And Simon does a nice job there. That's a really good shot.
In the same way that I talk about Calvin being like a low ceiling laser beam thrower, that is the most Simon shot.
Yeah,
there
very
is.
signature.
This big, wide drifter and just knowing the angles perfectly.
The Simon line is in the sky.
Yes, yes. Other than that, I mean, that's the true Simon shot, is just the craziest thing you've ever seen. But in terms of shot shaping on a consistent basis, that big towering turning shot, he does it better than anybody.
Yeah, did it beautifully yesterday in the President's Cup on hole 10. McBeth for birdie. 1 par, 1 bogey. The rest are birdies through 9.
That is a good get on number 9.
Gosh, just one tree kick away from being 8 down on the front 9.
One of the reasons Simon is so good with those types of shots is, as a young person, he threw a lot of Frisbees.
Yeah.
And he played a lot of catch and a lot that really taught him angle control, spin, speed. And that's why we see so much power from him and so much precision from him with those turnover shots. He doesn't just take the pure power, whether it's a backhand or a sidearm. So nice to see from Simon.
Robinson on 18, his second attacking this island green.
Yeah, one of the most critical shots of your day out here at Swenson, over the water. Gets inbounds, but pretty conservative.
You guys see who else was on that card?
Hungry he is.
Sorry, Nate. Got a Steve Rico sighting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I saw Stevie yesterday. Stevie got in off the waiting list.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, one of just the best players of all time, Steve Rico, out of Silmar, California.
Another in that long list of California legends.
Yeah, Japan Open champion.
They're playing with Chris Clemens and Luke Taylor.
Okay.
Steve is just one over on the day. Not a bad round.
How's Luke doing?
Luke even, surprisingly. He was bubbling up really nicely last year.
He was.
Birdie putt. Hey, there's the man himself, the legend, the legacy, Steve Rico. That guy was on every Central Coast video when I started, man. That guy made so many league cards in California.
Pretty much all of them.
Yep.
For a solid 20 years.
Heimberg.
No.
That's going to be a bogey.
That was for birdie, I think.
Really?
We'll see.
Interesting. Because his second shot wasn't great. Yeah, we're just hearing from Perkins that was for bogeys.
All right.
And that's what I thought, because he hit a tree on that second shot, left him well short, duffed the third one to that point, and then misfires from close.
Great birdie from Presnell.
Yeah.
There you can see that out of bounds green. Heimberg, thankfully, did not roll or kick up off the basket very badly.
That's just a loose bogey.
Sure
by
is.
Calvin. I mean, it wasn't. He didn't have the perfect tee shot, and it wasn't a good second. But to not get up and down from 60.
Bird stood over this putt for a while too. I wonder if it's kind of a windy spot on this mound here.
Absolutely.
But to your point, Nate, you shouldn't miss that.
You never know when these disc golf holes are going to bite you. I feel like you let your guard down for a second at these big major tournaments, Elite Series tournaments. The holes are hard enough, deceptively so sometimes, that you can really find a way to bogey some stuff that you would not have thought would be a problem for you.
So I heard my first pirate voice from Pirate Island.
Yes.
Oh.
The OTB Open. I believe Party Island's been converted to a pirate ship here in celebration of the Champions Cup.
McBeth, maybe a slight underturn on the drive.
I would say so.
Yeah, be a long second to the green. Robinson, birdie putt on 18.
Nope. I think I like that strategy from 45 feet when you're already on a really nice number.
Let's go back to Adam on 17. We saw the drive a while ago. Now his second. This is a long carry to the green, as you called, Nate.
This looks good.
Yeah, he needs a little help off the ground there. He'll certainly be inbounds, but to be all the way back to the pin, you need a little bit more speed.
It's all going to come down to the ground play.
Yeah.
At least he cleared that first
He
little
did.
knoll, and if he gets 40 feet of skip, certainly could be approaching circle one.
I agree. And as the week goes on, that grass is going to get a little thicker, so you're going to have to push it a little closer to that basket.
That's true. Yeah.
As our 4-day tournament gets to the weekend.
Right now, they've got him in circle 2.
Okay.
See if he stays there.
That makes sense.
Burr, 8.
Wider than we've seen from some of the other forehand throwers.
Come back, come on.
Yep. Meaning it should be parked. That's a little long, actually.
Yeah, stayed out there a while.
It did.
See if he's got an angle. That tree is huge. So if he's unlucky there, he might not have much of a line, but we'll see.
Presnell.
Did you put this in the top 5 as far as scariest shots on the course, Sexton, with all the out of bounds?
I would say no for me personally, but as a forehand, you know, I think for me it doesn't come into play that bad. There's so many other water carries later, like just 18 and that other par 4 coming up, and then the
12.
That signature hole, is it 11 this year with the 420 along the water?
Yeah, it's 11. Yeah,
it certainly is a scary shot, but for me it comes up short of top 5. Yeah.
Simon sneaks it through onto the green,
over the grass.
Good enough. He needs it right now. Slow start for Simon so far. Heimberg coming off the bogey will look for redemption here.
I just think that changes if the wind's really strong here.
Sure.
It's hard to get all the way back to the pin.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Just cruising right on through is Calvin Heimberg. Yeah, I haven't played the course this year yet, but I think maybe even that triple Mando might figure in his top 5 scariest shots as well.
Yeah.
Just as in terms of pressure.
And we'll only see that triple Mando for the first 2 days.
This is second on 10, and trimming the cattails and grabbing a birdie. On the same, McBeth. The drive was not ideal. Yeah, what do you think of this second?
This is interesting. This low-hanging branches.
Just pipes it.
Oh, yeah, he had a pretty good line. Yeah, nothing to worry about there. Very well done.
This is a motivated McBeth we're seeing today.
Motivated and confident.
Love it.
Seems like he believes.
I love
at the moment.
Great drive from Antala. Decent second.
Have to earn it. It's that time of year, isn't it?
From a goose to an eagle. Production, you guys are ridiculous. Love you.
Well, for the second time today that we've seen, eagles kind of hemmed up on a tree.
That was scary.
Uh-oh.
Still scary.
Looks low.
Still very scary.
Let's say OB.
Yeah, that sure looked like it.
Burr has a line, but this is a dangerous putt. Out of bounds behind it.
Oh my goodness.
Just that little kiss off the leaves sent him down into the cage.
That was perfectly on line.
It had to be fired. I mean, it's that low ceiling and plus the high basket. Makes it even scarier for the out of bounds because it has to have a ton of pace.
Presnell's birdie putt. Skitters off the rim. Had that to go 4 down through 8. He'll stay at 3. Likely anyway. Here is the putt for Adam Hammis. It is just a step out to circle 2.
Yeah, he did get a lot of distance. There it is.
Full trust in that putt. It was high in the chains. Awesome stuff from Adam. Great bounce back after the bogey, too. Heimberg. Birdie look.
I would rather see that miss from Calvin all week long than the one short. Good effort.
Par putt for Presnell.
That was the birdie for Simon.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. Simon sneaks it in.
I was just thinking about Gannon Burr.
Okay.
He's not even 21 yet. And, you know, if he wins this weekend, he'll be one world title short of the career Grand Slam for what we have as our 4 majors. And he's not even 21.
I think technically not even 20.
Is he not even?
I
is
think
he still 19?
it's May 7th.
Oh, it is
believe.
May. It's coming up.
So I think he's going to be celebrating 20. Wow, shortly.
Unbelievable.
Antala, great putt on 10's green. Grabs a birdie.
Very nice.
Nicholas playing super solid. And Jacob Curtis on 18 is second.
Oh, the sidearm is so scary. Everything is working towards the water here.
If you throw it hard enough, there's room, but that's the key. Got to work it far enough so that it can't jump. Stop. Oh, man, that was so close.
Should be close enough for a par finish, though, at least.
Yes, yes.
Silver lining on that cloud.
That skipped annoyingly high. Like, I really don't hate the shot.
McBeth had 5 birdies in a row, took a break, back with 3 birdies in a row. This is some vintage McBeth we're watching today.
I'm going to say, I think on our coverage, Paul McBeth's playing the best of everybody. Now, I know his score's looking like it, of course, but it's the way he's doing it. It's not as if he's made a bunch of huge putts. He's really just been very proficient off the tee, great shots into the greens, giving himself a lot of opportunities. He's in tied for 4th, and he's only played 10 holes.
That's 3 in a row for Rathbun after a par start through 7. Nice to see him get it going. Simon on 9.
The more left, the better on this tee shot. Simon's done a lot of good work there.
You like that spot over there, Perkins?
Yeah, love the spot. He's going to be wide open, probably at the 350 mark. It's hard to even get that far left. He got a good skip off a dry spot.
Nice. Burr next to tee on 9. Out high. It works, though.
Sure does. Very similar.
Trimmed a couple leaves off the trees up there, but seems to be unaffected. Presnell.
Another good one.
Back to 18. Curtis to get off the course with a par. Solid day for Jacob Curtis. Is that the icing on his round right there for Cupcake? Heimberg off the tee on 9.
You know, look, Cupcake is 1,002 rated, and today's unofficially shooting a 1053.
Wow.
That's a pretty darn good round.
On the biggest stage as well.
Yeah.
In his home state. He should be proud of what he did today. Going to have himself a nice group for round 2.
Dad Jason is walking with him or watching online. McBeth doesn't like it. Needs some help from the tree.
I think he might be all right. It's kind of a slow disc.
I think it's going to be great.
What do you hate it for then?
Yeah, I'm wondering that too, because
yesterday during the President's Cup, he was throwing that shot that has to drift. He's not really throwing something stable. So maybe he thought he just left it a little too high, but the wind helped him a lot there, keeping it nice and straight.
That was Adam Hammis on 18. Looks like he's clean off of it. And back to 11 for Antala.
Wow, look at that angle control. Great shot from Niklas.
Got a VIP spectator out here watching the MPO action. If you don't watch her tomorrow, she'll be on the FPO league card. Sitting in third right now.
Yeah, Paige Pierce, a multiple-time OTB Open champion.
3 of them, I want to say.
Yeah. Definitely could see Paige getting back in the winner's circle.
I feel like you can name a tournament and you're probably coin flipping whether Paige has 3. 3 titles.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
But
it's probably true.
None of them have really come since the big injury. And
yeah, you're right about that.
I think that's what we'd really like to see Paige get back in that winner's circle after all that.
Yes, absolutely. What a great story that would be.
The second for Presnell is coming up short.
He hit that curb.
Potentially by design, though. It didn't look like a shot that was asking for birdie.
Yeah, it was pretty low.
That curb he hit, that cart path is all inbound, so no worries there. Perkins, I wanted to ask you, how's the wind? I mean, we've seen it whip up a little bit around the pond here. How's the wind compared to the start of the day?
Yeah, honestly, probably the strongest gust I've felt so far. Right to left wind, maybe a little bit at Simon's back right here. Wide open to the pin though, 350 in.
That should be good enough, right?
I think so.
Let's go back to 11. McBeth, dangerous birdie proposition.
Well, and we just heard about this relevant wind. You can see it coming right off that lake, kind of just off of his left into the face.
Wow.
So good.
McBeth took 1 shot. That could have turned into 3 real quick. But it only takes 1.
Yeah, I mean, you miss this, you're in the water. For sure.
Yeah. And just enough. The basket very friendly for our 1-shot replay.
And make sure you guys head over to oneshotenergy.com. Check out their range of chews and lozenges. We are sampling them in the booth.
Yeah, I think we're on dark cherry today.
Nice.
Pretty good stuff.
Burr is second on 9.
This looks way
Where is
right.
this going?
What the?
Trying to swing back, but misfire. Must have got it turned and the wind just stayed on top of it. Didn't allow it to come out and finish.
Yeah, as Perkins just said, it's coming off their right side. I think that's exactly what happened.
Put it in tow mode.
Got a dead battery.
Calvin's from Florida. The man knows golf
Yeah,
carts.
Florida
you know?
guy. He comes over, he's just like, yeah,
I got this.
had to do this just last week.
That was amazing. Yeah, put it in go mode. He walks over, flips a switch. There they go. I'm impressed.
Yeah, same. Antala to match that birdie from McBeth. Hearted by Nicholas.
Great start.
Yes, and we were just talking about how well McBeth is playing. Antala just 1 shot back of him.
Perkins, talk about this lie here for Heimberg.
Yeah, he took that quasar and it just pushed way left. So he has a little bit more hyzer than he would like. And he's going to trust it out wide and also a little deep. I can't tell. There is OB back there. He spun the catch cam. He'll be out there in C2 looking back into the headwind.
Perk, are those wind-related results for Burr and Heimberg there, or just kind of misses?
Yeah, I think the wind did kind of affect both those shots. I think the wind kind of got on top of Gannon's wing and held it out wide, and then Calvin was forced into a little bit more of a hyzer that the wind kind of pushed long.
Thank you. There are your Canic Cart conditions. The wind is up from this morning. It's about doubled since we started the show.
The disc golf club here in Stockton, California is called the Windjammers. And it's always wind is always a factor out here in Stockton. It's Central Valley of California. As the temperatures change and ebb and flow throughout the day, I think we're going to have some bigger winds over the next couple of days as well. So wind will certainly be a topic throughout the week.
Pro Tour winner Ezra Robinson.
Go. Go.
Attacking the island on 13 beautifully. On 12, McBeth.
Yeah, Ezra 4 down through 12 holes.
There's the flip he needed. That's well done.
In position?
I think so.
Okay.
Plenty of distance. Still a daunting shot.
We are peeking in on the green of 9 this year.
This is a great view because you can see the golf green. That's the OB there. You have the bunker just shy left. That's why we're seeing these players push it long. That's the mistake you want to make. You don't want to come up short. Of course, you have a lot of distance between that bunker and the basket. You can see that distance right now. Simon going to be somewhere in that range, just short left of the basket. But you don't want to make your mistake short.
They're putting this right at the edge of the fairway in circle 2 for Burr's birdie bid.
You don't see it often, a layup from Gannon Burr, even from that distance.
Heimberg, birdie putt.
Goes to show you the challenge of the green. Let's Knoll here.
Simon well inside the circle.
Oh,
just
nice.
15 feet left on this birdie putt.
Yeah, finally getting our eyes on it. That's great.
Yeah.
Opportunity for Simon to finish off the front 9, 3 under par. And you would be, kind of the way things have gone, you'd be shocked to think that Simon just played the front 9 one shot better than Calvin.
True, huh?
Over the last several holes, Calvin's made several mistakes. The bogey on
7.
On 7, yep.
There is Presnell in for the par. His approach was quite a bit short. Par for Burr, par for Heimberg. Simon grabs a stroke on the card and a turkey there. After the bogey on 6, 12, Antala.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And that's the challenge. As he's going to go OB, he'll proceed to the drop zone. That's the challenge of trying to throw left, because if you just turn it, that big bush is so big and daunting to get up and over.
Hammis to head to the clubhouse with a birdie and a 9-down day. 1 off the lead of Niemanen. Tied for second if this goes in. Solid day.
Great day. Yeah, I think Antala just not necessarily having the luxury of just staying right the whole time and blasting one. Has to play a little bit more of an angle game, paying a price in the wind there, because I don't think anybody's ever made it through that bush. If you hit that, you're
Look
OB.
how big it is.
You're
It's
going to the drop zone.
50 feet tall by 20 feet deep.
And the line's on the back side
of
of
it,
it. Like, you're not getting in bounds.
This
is
scary.
in trouble.
This is scary OB left potential.
That looks OB, doesn't it?
I think it's really close.
We will update you when we find out. Our first look at the great Ricky Wysocki. Attacking this island green on 13.
Oh, shoot.
What a mean... Oh, up the DZ path right there.
Just gets up and rolls on him.
We talked about Rick needing to do work. He had picked up 2 birdies out of the last 3 holes, but now he's going to have to make a A good putt from the drop zone for par.
A lot of turn for Lizotte, but there's the fade. That's going to be in a fantastic spot. Really aggressive line.
Andrew Miranda on 13. And that sticks on the island nicely. Burr, 10.
Just touches that tree, but doesn't hurt him too badly.
With this wind too, the tee shot on 10 so challenging. They're effectively playing into a direct headwind here, but as the fairway starts to turn to the right, then it becomes a crosswind.
Presnell.
I think making Simon's shot even that much more impressive.
It's a good one from Andrew as well.
Presnell's in the range of 80 feet behind where Simon got so far up there.
Heimberg. 1 over on the last 4 after a pretty hot start.
Is this pushing towards that back line? Yes. Stay safe.
Safe. It'll be a tricky second shot. A lot of low branches.
And we're going to take a look at our birdie zone provided by our friends over at Birdie Pro. It's a small birdie zone, guys.
Yeah.
Tough hole.
So really great the camera, the way it turned there, because you can see the tee pad is kind of low right, and as they turn right, that wind's coming directly off the left side of your screen right now. Very small window. That being said, Calvin over here inside this left row of trees, just inside the out of bounds line, a lot of shots can be made there, and even from a perfect tee shot, you can find some struggles, and from out of position, you can even still get birdies. I like the way this hole plays overall. Big stroke swing hole potential if you find that OB short, like we saw from McMahon earlier.
Yeah, definitely one of the signature holes, and one that isn't going to move throughout the course of this week.
Yeah.
Along with the following par 3 along the water. 2 of the main holes I think about when I imagine this property.
Yeah, you think of 8, the OTB hole, this one.
18.
17.
Gonna sneak in a quick reminder, you've got free shipping over at BoaterBrothers.com if you want to grab a copy of best-selling disc golf board game in the world, played by over 50,000. Wysocki for par, 13. Rick will pick up a bogey on 13. McMahon, second on 12.
Does it sit? I don't think so.
And that's a situation of that crosswind the opposite way affecting the sidearm. That just carried it out. No chance to stop. Really closely mown on the green.
Miranda to get to 8 and a share of 4th.
Andrew Miranda has a real chance here.
My hometown hero's doing things today,
Couple
Nate.
more birdies. The guy's up with Niemanen.
Awesome. Presnell, second on 10.
Get through.
That was great.
That was a beauty.
He shaped some really nice flex shots today. He had that one back on 7 as well.
So he did go out of bounds. This is shot 5 for Antila. At least he puts it close.
Circles edge for the double bogey. Real tourniquet putt coming up there.
Yeah, it's going to be a tail cross for triple? No, double.
Yeah, double. Burr, his second, back on 10.
A lot of flex angle. I don't think this can come all the way back.
There's an OB line.
He's inside, thankfully, but in circle 2 for birdie. His flex charts aren't flexing on time right now, are they?
No, but I think this wind is exactly what course designer Leonard Muse likes to see, challenging these players.
Miranda finding the same tree we saw Adam Hammis hit about an hour ago. Long birdie look for McBeth on 12. Whew, that was dropping a home, I thought.
It kind of looked like he thought he had that, man.
Yeah.
He's after it right now.
Ooh, Heimberg, tricky lie, back on 10 for his second.
He's far up here, though, so I think if you just put heat behind this, like miss long if you have to. But just go through with speed with the driver, get over the water quick, and then just hope the skip isn't massive.
He's done exactly that. Looks good.
And the skip is kind of huge, but that's the shot. I mean, make sure you don't turf that thing and go into the drink.
Yeah.
With the low ceiling.
It's another one of those baskets that's slowly creeping towards the water out here.
Yeah.
Making that shot ever more difficult.
Good example of when the hole being shorter is not easier.
Rathbun, what a putt.
Right at the same time.
Seriously.
Holy cow.
Unbelievable. At the water. For what, 60? Let's roll back Azuka.
Yeah, tail cross off the right side here. The wind is certainly pushing it that way. But ultimately, from what we've seen, these baskets have been friendly today so far.
After a slow start, he's birdied 4 of the last 5 to get the 4 down. Simon's second on 10.
Just look how far up he is.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
No more ceiling restrictions, no more anything once you drive it that far.
And takes advantage, fully putting that on the bullseye.
So the work that we were talking about Ricky needing to do, Simon was just the same. Remember we had the conversation. They'd played 6 holes. He was even par. He had missed that triple, Mando, and that's going to be a triple for Antila.
Oh, does not make the tourniquet putt.
Simon perfectly an example of coming back with 4 birdies over the next 4 or 5 holes.
And just like that, Antila and Rathbun are tied.
That's insane.
That is wild. Well, they make their way around the pond. We're going to send it off to a quick break on the Disc Golf Network. The action coming your way very soon. Don't go anywhere.
OTB is very specific on how they list the disc because they want you to like the disc.
Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
Not just marketing.
It's only the best.
In the last 2 years, the Power Disc Golf Academy has helped over 12,000 disc golfers improve their game. Our program has proven time and time again to increase our members' performance and ratings. With over 250 video tutorials taught by the world's best players, it's easy to see why our academy is so trusted. To celebrate, we're running an anniversary sale of 60% off the first year of your subscription. Visit powerdga.com and use promo code 2YEAR to join today.
Heimberg coming back for birdie. After putting the second quite a bit long. Yeah. Par coming for Calvin. And it's still 1 over on his last 5 now. Burr, birdie putt in circle 2. To move to 6. And a clean 6 as well. Count it.
Nice recovery.
Burr in the mix here. 6 down through 10. Hasn't looked great the whole time, but he's scoring still.
That's the #1 player in the world, so he can make a lot of mistakes, and you sort of go, yeah, it's not his day, I guess, because what you're expecting is literal perfection every time he steps to the course.
You're not wrong, Nate.
So he can get a lot done, even if you're like, man, he missed a 40-footer. That's odd. Because that's how it feels. Every time the guy misses a 40-footer, you're like, what's wrong?
And just think of the great players, the Wysocki's, the McBeths. They take advantage of even the smallest of opportunities. And that's why they're really never out of it. You know, that's why towards the end of a round or They might not be playing their best. Like you said, they miss a few 40-footers, but then they get a couple extra cashes in there. Nice putt by Burr.
Miranda salvaged the par on 14 after the tree hit. 13, McBeth.
Very wide.
It's moving. Just in time.
The trust. Whew. Playing the wind perfectly.
Scary drive? A not scary putt at least, though, huh?
Yeah. Those often go together.
They do, don't they?
The scarier the drive, the less scary the putt, if you achieve your aim.
True story. McBeth will move to 9 shortly. He has more than double the best score on his card. The other 3 is 4 down. Antila, Rathbun, and McMahon. Simon on 11, who is sitting at 4 under thanks to the birdies on the last 4.
Ooh, that got away from him. So low out of the hand. Could potentially be so short that that second shot actually becomes a little bit stressful.
Yeah.
Because he's not any kind of jump putt to the basket. He's going to have to swing his arm.
So I'm asking you the same question as earlier. Is this in the top 5 scariest tee shots on the course?
I think so. The caveat being that I am often so scared that I just bail a forehand to the right. So, oh, shoot, out of bounds. So in that case, it's not scary because you can go way right. But if you have to play it for birdie, I think certainly it's got to be up there in as one of the scariest shots. Certainly one of the scariest putts.
Yeah. And I think one of the things we just saw, 97 times out of 100, if not more, if you land at the pin, you're OB left. In line with
yes.
it because it's so fast. There's no grass.
Yes.
You have to land at least
like
20 feet.
Look at this one.
Yep.
Can it sit? No. Such a quick edge on that disc.
That's the disc selection problem for Presnell. So he needs to land at 50 feet right and allow the ground play to work it left.
Yeah, perhaps going with a little wider rim than the other guys.
Exactly. Because this shot is still over 400 feet. It's 435 feet. I mean, you saw McBeth throw something that was really kind of just drifting slow, almost like a mid.
Yes.
Versus Presnell really having to whip one out there. So he's got to turn it more right, allow the ground play to bring it to the pin.
It's a diabolical hole design.
It is
really like something out of a video game.
Heimberg a little extra safe with his drive as well. It's an overturned one.
Now, he did gain enough distance to where it's pretty much just going to be kind of a toss up to the pin as a layup.
13, Antila will look to bounce back from the triple on 12. Drive on, is that 14? 15? 15.
15.
Yeah, pretty nice. Back on 13, Rathbun.
Fantastic.
Rathbun really starting to play well here over these last 5-6 holes. We just saw the big putt. Rathbun, the second place runner-up finish last year here, OTB.
McMahon goes to the sidearm.
That's good.
Wow. Sure could have.
Around the back.
Oh, just inches.
Simon's second. He hates it.
Not too bad. Really.
It's not that bad.
That hard pan really helped him a lot.
You just really don't want to deal with anything outside 25 feet on this if you can avoid it. So you're hanging your head if you feel like you just left yourself work on the, and it hangs in the balance. Like we said, it's a 3-shot. Potentially you're adding 3 shots to your score by missing that putt into the water.
Casey White with a nice putt for birdie. That was on hole 15. Back to the green of 13, McMahon for 2. And back to 11 for Heimberg, second. Did not not miss that tree by much. But parks it in the bullseye, thankfully. It's a Rathbun birdie on 13. And back to 11 again. It's a par putt for Burr as we look in from our Flight Factory drone, and now on the ground.
Oh, and it stays in bounds.
That's wild.
That's almost a very rare
Yeah.
occurrence.
Yeah.
I think one of the more diabolical things here on this hole as well is the cart path.
Yeah.
Sometimes you come in a little shy, and Presnell might have
Caught it.
kind of caught that to see that power skip go that far left.
And it is such a murky, quickly deepening part of the lake right here where you think, oh, surely
I'll
my
get
disc
it.
will be right there.
Yeah, no.
You can never see it.
Gone. So it looks like Presnell has found a mark for his par putt. Burr will pick up his first bogey of the day here on 11, though. I'll send him back to 5. Good par save from Andrew.
I think holes like this, Presnell needs to stay aggressive on. It's in his wheelhouse. If he can get it up there, get a birdie. A bonus if we go B, save the par. I think a good play from him to not be overly safe.
Simon sneaks in the par, and McBeth. That's a birdie on 13. McBeth within one of the lead. Miranda to join him on 15.
Yes. Such a nice drive.
And you might remember Andrew from back in 2022, flashing back to the Masters Cup. He was on your feature card round 1. He's then taking down the AM side. Oh, this. McBeth called it right about here. Bam.
The birdie on I-5, it doesn't happen often.
Oh, man. I forgot about this.
That's awesome.
He's a kid.
He's like 60
He's
times,
just a
something
kid.
like
He's
that.
still a kid
Yeah,
now, but
yeah.
he's kind of filled out over the. I mean, look at him. He's a strong kid right now.
I met forehand 420 feet on the last hole.
On 16, this needs to hustle right.
Oh, that might have been a beautiful kick.
Wow.
He's at least got reason to hope.
It bounced. It didn't bury. It kind of bounced, and we saw it at least.
I remember meeting his dad and like, this guy looks younger than me.
So
it's happening quickly.
Miranda has not even had a C2 attempt. He's got the 2 bullseyes, but everything else has been circle 1X putts.
That's how you're supposed to play it.
That sounds more normal versus hitting C2 17 times like we saw from yesterday evening.
We are flying this very dynamic 12, Dave.
Yeah, very, very difficult. I think this par 4 position is probably statistically going to play a little harder. That's my guess compared to the par 5 for tomorrow. This one, if you're a big power thrower, you're staying right of the bush. If you don't have that luxury, you have to kind of challenge it a little bit. Maybe play something that turns. The OB line on the left side that we saw Antila go over has been pinched in quite a bit, so that narrows down this fairway a lot. Doesn't give you that left side bailout zone. And then the shot into the green is really tough. You have to get low, so it needs a lot of speed, and you can't really consistently get the big skip, but then sometimes you do get it and you go straight in the water, like we saw from somebody earlier. I can't remember who made that shot, but jump down into the water beyond the basket. So it's a really good get. I mean, 850 plus for a par 4. Not messing around.
Not at all. Simon up first.
I would bet that a guy like this enjoys 850 plus on the par 4s because he can chew up 75% of it in one shot.
For a share of the lead, McBeth on the green of 4. This isn't even the green, though.
Come on.
Hey.
Nasty. Unbelievable. This is a day for Paul McBeth.
That was from the fairway, gents. 65 feet, maybe a foot inside the marker.
Rolled a Zuka replay.
Wow. I mean, talk about the perfect thing to have happen to just take the excitement up on day one to maximum for me. It's just McBeth on fire.
Vintage McBeth.
This is awesome.
Like I say, the king of California, Paul McBeth, 10 down through 14 holes. The course doesn't get any easier from here to the finish, but it's been impressive so far. That's a 10 with a bogey.
That's right. Clean since then. Just 2 pars otherwise.
Saw James Proctor's name jump into the top 10.
Nice.
Here we see Jason Kenny, all-time major winners. Paul McBeth at 17.
Someone with 1 looking for 2 is Presnell on the tee of 12.
So, Prez got over. That's why I'm a little bit surprised about Antila.
Yeah, he just got away
Why?
from it.
But why play that way left and bring that bush into play? And as you said in the flyover, they pinched that left OB line in.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit surprised about that decision.
Yeah.
Of course, you see how much power these guys have.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I am also curious as to what his thought process is.
Burr.
Because I would expect Antila could best Presnell in a distance contest.
Me too. No disrespect to either
Both
person.
of them throw
I
it
just
great.
think, yeah.
Both of them throw it great.
I
Up in the
just think
500s, but
on a hole like this, with so much out of bounds, step 1 is inbounds over the water. It doesn't matter how far you get out there. If you get it way out there, great, go for it. But if not, play for par.
So he stayed in bounds.
He did.
Or at least if our graphic is to be believed.
They've got him at circle's edge for this birdie putt.
What a result that would be.
For a share of the lead,
Are
yes.
you serious? That drive looked dead to rights to me, heading out of bounds.
Yeah, it did.
Awesome.
And then to go on to take advantage and make the putt.
Yes.
A 3-way tie at the top. McBeth, one of those names on 15.
It just doesn't seem like anything bad's going to happen for him. I mean, he misses all those trees on the left side. There's so many over there. He's going to have a look at birdie.
Back to 12, Presnell, his second. Play for par, gents?
Oh, yeah. One of the things I love the most in disc golf is watching a Paul McBeth that's not playing tentative.
Yeah.
Or in some sort of weird, angry, kind of mad about everything. Right here, this is what I love. Just watching him freely just swing.
Options here for Simon, you think? Inside, outside, possibly?
It looks like he's eyeing up the big, crazy hyzer, as he usually does. But I think he's going to try to take this really high, out over the water just briefly, and spike it back to the green.
Check those flanners, kind of a tail cross, a little bit off his right side, maybe pure tail from here. Yeah, that he was. I think he was worried about that wind. Still turned out pretty good. His reaction, he was worried. He thought he was going to hit that big oak tree. Just got over it. So I'm guessing for all you Simon fans, you're going to be able to get a behind-the-scenes look at today's round. He's been commentating everything.
This is Miranda on 17 off the tee. Do you like the shape of that one?
Yes, I do.
Back to 12, Burr.
There was zero ground play there.
That's how I feel like this hole works. It's like no skips right up until it's the hottest skip you've ever seen, like as it gets closer to the water.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to judge coming in with that forehand. How aggressive can I afford to be? So you get a lot of guys in the water and you get a lot of guys 45 feet short.
Heimberg lining up his second, going up and over.
Wow. Wow. It's the koozie. There's no room. There's just no room there between the basket and the water. That's an amazing shot.
Calvin needed that one right now, guys.
He did. And that was a very risky shot. Perfect speed control. You can see the angle there. He's trying to utilize this tailwind. So difficult to see how much it's going to drop it. And he picked it perfectly. To land on the right side of in line with the pin there is impressive.
McBeth walking out into circle 2 for this birdie putt for the solo lead as well.
He's coming, Kenny.
Wow.
He's coming, Kenny.
This is NBA Jam time. He is on fire. Impressive.
That man is 100% in the circle, and he is 4 for 7 out in circle 2. That is ridiculous. This is vintage. This is what we used to see all the time. Love watching it. Presnell. Oh, that's not it, Andrew. That's a double fault right there, guys. Is that OB?
It very well might be.
And I was thinking about what you were talking about earlier, Sexton. It was Eagle who threw the sidearm that took that big skip.
Yes.
He did go on to make par. He was, pretty close to the pin there.
This hole is going to be a major change as we get to the weekend. Different tee pad, par 5, a second water carry beyond out to the left of where our screen is looking. It'll be an interesting one to see how they attack it. Definitely eagle in play.
Birdie in play for Simon.
Yes.
After kind of a rough front 6, Simon has really heated up. Birdie's on 5 of the last 6. Let's get to 5 down and fully in the mix here at the Champions Cup.
Oh, surely OB for Presnell now that I see where that line is painted.
Can't go OB on that shot, guys.
No, you cannot.
That's going to be the most annoying shot of his round, I would imagine. Par for Burr. Drop in birdie for Calvin Heimberg. A desperately needed birdie for Calvin Heimberg. Moves to 3 on the day. Let's see if he can get it going here on the rest. Rathbun, 15.
I like this.
Yeah, this is a rarely seen line.
Oh, I love that line.
Wow.
I really like that. That low power.
Tight little gap to go through to start.
Yep. Just twisting around the mandatory.
As a few moments ago, we are now live on the green with Rathbun. Has this for 4 in a row, and to get to 7, he is relevant.
That's 7 of the last 8.
Even, yeah.
What a scorecard. Rathbun, similarly to Simon, just even par through 6 holes.
How about that, huh?
I'm so glad we had that conversation about through 6 holes, your tournament's not over. You still got 64 to play.
Yeah.
These guys are proving it right now.
McBeth not done. Still has 3 to go. Already has a 1-stroke lead. T of 16.
Flex forehand coming up. Is it to check? I think that's going to be safe by a hair.
With the way today's going, that's safe.
It looks safe. It looks safe by 3 inches to me.
Rathbun
in a fantastic spot.
Overturned. Can he get lucky like Miranda? Maybe.
So this hole drastically changes as well come the weekend.
Yeah, huge.
Much longer.
Yes, par 4.
Yeah, and
very demanding tee shot.
Big stroke swing hole.
Simon on 13 attacking the island green. Just when he got going, hands it right back.
So he'll go to the drop zone.
Yep.
Just on the back end.
It's pretty brutal for this pin location. I believe it's a 48-footer.
Gotcha.
Certainly can be made, but you got to be serious about running a risky putt. Gosh, that is so low.
It pays the price for it, Nate.
Yeah, just of all the times to go low. I mean, I know that's kind of his thing, but this is not it. You want to modulate the speed with a little height on that shot.
Miranda going towering for his second on 17.
Yeah, we see this a lot. We generally see it from more left. And Miranda will be well out of the circle and pretty much in upshot land.
Yeah, easy. Should be an easy par.
A lot of times we see players way left. They're forced to kind of go that high. I think Miranda had options there.
Back on 13, Burr's tee shot.
Beautiful.
That should get Burr back to 6 under on the day. With 5 to go there. As they make their way around the pond, we're going to sneak in a quick break on the network. We'll be right back.
If you design, if you test, if you manufacture, there is only one technology partner you need. TriMet Group is the leading provider of design, engineering, and manufacturing solutions for thousands of companies across North America and Europe. Innovation starts here. TriMetGroup.com.
Bend the reality of what a disc can be and discover Ultra Soft plastic. Ultra Soft has the best grip and flex of any plastic Prodigy has ever made. Check out the entire collection today on ProdigyDisc.com or your local retailer.
McBeth for a 2-stroke lead. The putter has not hit the floor in circle 1, and that stays true. All it took was a California major to get this back in those California fields when he lived back in HB.
Yeah, he wasn't so happy that I stole his opportunity to win his first Worlds back in 2011 in Santa Cruz. At that time, he had already won a couple of Masters Cups, but not only is it a major, but this is Paul McBeth, and it's California, and he's been playing well. We talked about it at the beginning of the season, or beginning of the show, and it's been a good day so far. The putter has really been the key to all of this.
Really a rare opportunity to put some distance between himself and the field in round 1. I mean, if he can finish this round up with a couple of more birdies, that's a tall order, I know, with some of the toughest holes on the course, but the way he's playing, wow,
He's now 7 for 7 circle 1 and 5 for 8 in circle 2.
And I'm
They
gonna
have not been short either.
I'm going to rattle off some numbers here.
Okay.
Paul McBeth is 5 ahead of Eagle, 7 ahead of Simon, Burr, Antala.
Wow.
Barella. He's 9 ahead of Calvin Heimberg. This is after round 1. Of course, they still have several holes to play, but
so does he.
So does he.
17, McBeth.
Paul should be able to take advantage of the tailwind here.
That's huge.
That's big. But see, he's a little bit more left. That's where going high can come into play.
Dad putt for Simon to save par? No. Heimberg the same.
OB.
That is injury to insult or insult to injury, one of the two.
Yeah, and the rules are traditional out-of-bounds rules from the drop zone. So Calvin will effectively tap in from there for a 5. Just completely deflated. Calvin Heimberg, he's dropped down to 1 under par. 11 shots behind the lead.
And just thinking back to how this started, a 70-footer and then another circle 2 putt on hole 2, we kind of thought, wow, here he comes. You know, just what a reversal of fortunes for him. The wheel's kind of coming off at the moment.
Berg gets back to 6 with that birdie. Also saw Presnell cage his birdie putt.
I was searching, had to go down the board just a little bit, but Paul McBeth 9 shots ahead of Ricky Wysocki as well, who's currently playing the 18th hole. Ricky just 3 under par. So a lot of the big names that we're so expected to see or hoping to see for a lot of the fans at home, not quite there just yet. Of course, we still have 3 days to go for everybody. And this leaderboard is a new school leaderboard with I hate to call him old school, but an old school champion, one of the greatest players of all time sitting at the top.
Yes.
Tee shot on 14 for Burr is fantastic.
Like if most of those people are in grade school, like that's like in high school, and I'm way out of college. So we're talking about schools.
Yeah, sure.
It's not like he's out of school yet.
It's fair to call McBeth old school. He's been in this game a long time. Still obviously has a lot to give, but
yesterday was his 9th President's Cup.
Yeah. Talking about a guy who won the World Championship now 13 years ago. You know, so that's a long time at the top. He's still there and playing the best we've seen him play in quite some time.
Lazat. Looks like an overturn for Simon. Hangs it out right. Same could be said for Presnell.
We've just seen a lot of these reactions from Simon today. He's kind of fighting it a little bit as far as his game, his own game. It's always disappointing to see a player being that frustrated after a shot.
Here's the line Presnell and Lazat were looking for. Beautifully thrown by Heimberg. Should get him back to 2 on the day.
It's just a hard way to play where he did absolute beauty as the approach on the par 4 back there. Then he coughs up a 5 and now a beauty again just to be even through those holes. It's a frustrating way to go about your business.
An absolute smash up the fairway for Miranda on 18.
What a day.
Yeah, he's an inbound shot from playing on the lead card tomorrow.
Antala, second on 17.
Needs to keep its height. Circle 2, I would guess. Deep circle 2, perhaps.
Great example of the angle there. So Antala off to the right. Able to throw kind of a flatter hyzer. You can see where McBeth is. It's got to be a much steeper hyzer.
There it is.
Does he get it over?
I think he's trying to bring it just in front of that tree. He's
Oh,
done it.
wow.
He's done it. I don't think he was trying to go over.
Yeah,
I think he was trying
split,
to keep that
yeah.
angle steep high.
What a shot.
See, he can't really go low here because of the angle that he's throwing at, but what an impressive shot by Paul. Just in front of those branches. And the ground play to his advantage. Had he landed about 10 feet to the left, he could have easily skipped down towards the water.
Has that to go to 13 in a 3-stroke lead.
13 with a bogey.
With an opening bogey after an unlucky tree kick.
I did not think we would see those numbers today or any day this week. I mean, that is just phenomenal scoring on this course.
Long look at birdie for Simon back on 14. Somehow misses the basket left.
How?
Not to be for Presnell either. Long look for Rathbun for birdie. And we'll turn into a par. That was McMahon laying up. Now the Antela birdie putt.
Got to make decisions here.
Taking a look at the backside of this green, it does get pretty quick back there, leading to water.
There's zero chance he goes for it.
Perfectly called, Dust.
Sometimes you do that little walk because you're trying to convince yourself
to go
of a
for it.
possibility to go for it. But you know in your heart, you're like, there's no way. But I like that he at least gave it the old college try to look at it.
Yeah, sure.
Booyah.
Not missing that today.
One of the harder holes on the course.
I'm going to tell you, if he birdies 18, shoots a 14, that's going to go down as probably one of the top 10 greatest rounds of his career. And he has some great ones.
Yeah.
We're talking perfect scores.
Yeah.
This and that. We're talking he's shooting a 14 if he birdies with
Yeah.
a bogey on one of the hardest courses during a major championship.
Casey White has birdied the last 3 as he throws his second on 18.
Standing still here.
Great preview of what the wind is doing here. Directly back into their face.
Yeah, that's tough.
Miranda on the same card as White, throwing his second.
What a smash.
Big drive.
Oh, my goodness.
The kid bombs.
This looks good. Sit.
Yes.
Awesome
Wow.
stuff from Miranda. Let's go, Andrew. Let's fly 18 here.
Low ceiling, as are a lot of these. Out of the gate, you got to really throw a nice low power shot. Righty backhand is probably the preferred play because you'd like to sneak up a little bit left of this baby tree that's protected here by these 3 posts. If you're up there, you kind of have room to swing hyzer, go flat, judge the wind. You can do something. If you're a little more right, you have low ceiling problems, and you don't want to have to do that when you have to go over water and get back up that rise onto the green. The OB on the left side, extremely tight this year. Obviously, the wind is up a little bit at the moment, so it's really about getting that drive out with a good distance like we saw from Miranda. That's going to make your life so much simpler when it comes time to attack one of the scariest greens in the sport.
What a great finishing hole, huh?
I agree.
Love the change here. And you can watch it from a number of different vantage points, too. You got spectator, was it called Pirate Island?
Pirate Island.
Yeah,
Yep.
you could be in there.
That's right. It's really cool because you can look over and see 12, 13,
11.
Yep, 11. Turn around, watch 8.
Yeah, it's a really cool setup out there. We are jumping back to 15 in Gannon Burr. Burr sitting in a tie for 7th.
Still got outside chance at the lead card. Got to play mistake-free. That'll help. Maybe he can do one mistake now.
Green of 18, birdie putt in 4 straight as he heads to the clubhouse for Casey White.
Sick. Nice putt.
Nice round.
Really nice. Nice job, Casey White. Top 10.
One of the names Gannon Burr is tied with: Jacob Curtis, Cole Rodolin, Jake Mont also in that list. Nice Saki birdie finish there.
So 4 under for Ricky to start his campaign here at the 25 Champions Cup.
Miranda for solo second and 11 down. Opening round at a major. That's
What
a day. First Elite Series round of the year and balling out.
Yeah, we're going to find out a lot more about Andrew Miranda tomorrow, that's for sure.
We're jumping back to the tee of the same for your leader, Paul McBeth.
Can he tack on one more? Nice and low, power's good. Working left, I mean, that's what you want.
On the other side of this break, we'll see Paul McBeth get off the course. Can he get to 14? We'll find out soon.
Nobody is immune to a course like Northwood Black.
Just throwing laser beams.
That's so good.
Bresnell, the birdie, the fist pump.
Critical shot.
Got to get up. Bresnell.
That is a shot of a champion.
Your 2024 Champions Cup winner, Andrew Bresnell.
Birdie putt. Gets to 8. That's 5 off the lead of McBeth. Not far off the lead card position either, as you were alluding to, Sexton.
He's right there.
In the clubhouse is our second place finisher, Andrew Miranda. All yours, Perkins.
All right, Andy, first Elite Series or major round of the year, and you shoot double digits, 11 under par. How you feeling?
Feeling good, yeah. Game plan going in was conservative, but still, wanted to commit to every shot. But didn't feel like I did anything crazy, but just, went out, executed the shots I was trying to do. Didn't have an OB, so that was huge. But yeah, made all the putts. It was in a good headspace.
Yeah, I want to zoom out. Talk about the decision to choose this as the first event that you play.
Yeah, so I was planning on being in Texas. One of my best friends had a wedding, so that was honestly the reason I stayed. But I had a little bit of an elbow injury going on, so I wanted to not push that, keep that healthy. I'll be out here the rest of the year, so didn't want to jeopardize that. But yeah, stoked to be here now.
Cool. So going in conservative, now you shoot double digits. Is that at all going to change how you treat tomorrow and into the weekend?
No, yeah, I'm not going to change anything. Talking with my cousin, he's on the bag this weekend.
Cool.
We got a very repeatable game plan, so stick to that. Still, not get baited by some guys throwing bigger shots. Just stay within myself. I'm not just like chipping all over here, but I'm not going to go for eagle on some of the holes and just kind of piece the holes together, break them down. But yeah.
Well, they were pulling up some highlights from 2022 Santa Cruz when you played with McBeth. It looks like you're going to be playing with McBeth on the lead card tomorrow. What do you think about that?
I'm stoked. Yeah, Paul's, he's the GOAT. That's not a question in my eyes. And always love playing with Paul. It's a special thing. Honored to be able to be out here competing with him.
All right, Andy. Great round. Thanks for the time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Sweet. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew and Nate Perkins, for that. He just mentioned Paul McBeth. Let's check out his second shot on 18.
Perfect
Can he
position.
get to 14? It is, isn't it?
It's perfect position. It's just, can he judge this wind? Pace looks fine.
He made the safer play.
Oh yeah, blew him off course a little bit.
Yeah, more stability there. Played the safer shot. I like it.
Burr on 16.
I think you could have the conversation that Miranda is it's about the same age as when Paul McBeth started to wind up some wins.
They got similar builds too,
Yeah. My only question right now is how big does that basket look to McBeth and how nuts is he? Because he's kind of made everything. I think the smart money chips it underneath for sure.
Antala lays up with that one smartly. Looks like he was OB as he's looking for a disc in the lake, so likely a bogey as he heads to the clubhouse. McBeth, does he do it?
I kind of think, I don't know, it's 40 feet. I kind of think he might go.
He's over 50% in circle 2 today.
Do it. Yes! On! Unbelievable day.
Goat stuff right there.
That's beyond. That's beyond.
Look at that little smirk walking off the green.
That's impressive to even him.
That has got to feel
it.
so good after the injuries, after the kind of sitting on the sidelines for a couple of these big majors. Incredible performance today.
Going the whole year for the first time in 14 without an Elite Series or major win last year. Looking like he's back. What a make.
Oh, my goodness.
What a make. We're thinking that's like 1090 something, Nate?
Has to be.
Yeah, unofficially, for sure. I mean, Miranda's 11 was 1078. He's 3 shots shy of that.
That's like 6 or 7 points a stroke, something like that?
Somewhere in that range.
I mean, that puts it dangerously close to 1100.
It does. Look at that. An unlucky bogey to start the day and then just catches fire. McBeast mode activated here in round 1.
Big time. And a full 10 shots ahead of Ricky Wysocki. He's 12 ahead of Calvin Heimberg, 11 ahead of Simon Lazat, AB. He is 9 ahead of AB.
I'm so glad that I got to watch this round, this performance today, because I mean, that just changes the complexion of this tournament for me. Dominant day one.
I'm telling you, and I know it sounds ridiculous because the guy has so many great rounds, but that's one of the best rounds of the year and of his career, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah. You think it slides to that top 10 somewhere?
Close.
I think it's on the border. For me, it's like right around there.
Yeah, right at the bottom end of that top 10. And Burr's not giving up. He's the one guy that's still getting lower.
Burr could grab a share of second place. He can get to 11. Rathbun for par on 18. Right after the McBeth putt.
Nice. Yeah, and I think you could argue, you know, the stakes are really, in a way, quite high for McBeth because he's playing for his legacy at this point in his career, right? He's playing to, like, break new barriers. It was at the early part of his career, he's like playing for a contract, playing because he's just a competitor in his heart, and he wants to just show other people that he's better than him. But now he's playing like against history and against Ken Climo and the legacy that he has and the things he was able to achieve. So to put down a round like this after the year that was 2024, I think that bumps it. You know, that gives it even a little bit more of a kick because it's, in a way, for me, it's a really a high stakes moment in his evolution as a disc golfer in the late part of his dominance.
Talk about dominating 3 strokes clear of this field. Burr, tee of 17. The man has a chance to make that lead card. We'll need to finish birdie. Can he do it? We'll find out on the other side of this.
Tour Series returns, this time in the legendary Z-Swirl Plastic. One of the most popular blends in discraft history, the Z-Swirl blend brings unmatched grip, durability, and those signature swirls that made it a fan favorite. Support your favorite discraft pros and throw like the best. Discraft, built for flight.
My name is Garrett Gerthy, also known as Double G, and I'm the founder of Double G Craft Jerky.
Double G Craft Jerky is an awesome snack when you have a hankering on the course. You need a little something to pick you up out there so you can really get after a drive or finish on a putt and capitalize.
when you're playing a disc golf round and you're hungry and you don't have a snack on the course, you start to lose focus, you start thinking about what am I going to eat for dinner. With Double G Craft Jerky, that's not a problem.
And welcome back to Stockton, California and the PDGA Champions Cup. 1097 is the preliminary rating for that Paul McBeth round. Almost touching 1100. One bad tree kick away, huh?
Yeah, from like 1108. Yeah, I mean that was a two-stroker.
It was.
That he bounced off that tree on hole 1 out of bounds when it was headed to probably circle 1 without it.
The ESA number holding up though for the lead card at least. Nice work by the Finn.
Absolutely.
Gainer is going to try and chase him down 1 stroke back. This is his second on 17. It's a demanding approach. Got a distance guess for this one, either of you?
I would say 390, but awkward angle.
That's layupville.
Yeah, that's got to be like 80, 90 short.
Exactly. Yep. Here he chipped into that front hillside there, popped up to where the FPO basket is, and probably just trickled another 15 feet past that. So really no chance for Burr. Should watch what I say, but all signs point to layup.
Yeah.
Back that far back.
Heimberg.
So this has been Calvin's typical play. He did this yesterday. Left off the tee. Big hyzer over the top.
No. Oh, man. Doesn't deserve that one.
Red!
The slow roll. Just a little over-aggressive.
Go. Paul McBeth in the clubhouse with our very own Nate Perkins. Take it away, Perk.
All right, Paul, 14 under par. You started the day off with a tree kick right, OB. Talk about that shot and how you turned it around and broke the course record.
Yeah, most people go like the left side, either forehand or turnover. I've been playing that right side where I just throw like a consistent low hyzer, and the same thing for the second shot. So I try to cut in half, throw the same shot twice. And it was a little breezy today, and it just kind of held it a little bit straighter than normal. Caught the tree, kicked OB right, almost saved the par. But I mean, I couldn't be upset with that bogey. It was 2 good shots, felt good. They came out exactly how I wanted. I just rode that the rest of the round. Just felt like I knew where my discs were going the entire time. And I was knocking the putts down. That was the biggest thing in this wind especially.
Yeah, talk about some of the wind reads that you made and how you were able to find that groove.
Yeah, I think I just found like the right tempo for my putt, and it kind of just cuts through the wind. I don't have to worry about the wind too much, especially from distance too. Really, the headwind just keeps it up a little bit longer. If I could keep my disc flat, the left to right really doesn't affect it, or right to left. So I feel like I'm just kind of locked in with that and just cutting through the wind right now.
I got to be honest, Paul. You had the booth it's Ian Anderson, Nate Doss, Nate Sexton. They were like little kids watching you play today. I mean, Doss was calling you the king of California. Can you touch on playing a major in California again? I know it's been a long time. I think
2011.
2011 Worlds.
Yeah.
Is that how far back? Touch on that.
I think so. Yeah, 2011 Worlds, and that's the one Nate Doss won. So, I mean, I love coming back to California and playing here. The weather, it's really unmatched. It's hard to beat this California weather, and it's just, I don't know. It feels like home. You know, I'm not far from home where I grew up. You know, 6 hours north or so, and it's always comforting coming back here and playing.
Well, how fresh on your mind is the chance at your 18th major this week?
I just want to win. So if I can win this week, you know, that's a bonus on top of it. So I want to get a win, and this seems like the right place to do it.
All right, Paul, congrats on the 14 under par. We're looking at high 1090s. Now, Doss wants me to ask you, where do you rank that on your major performances?
It's like when you play so well, it's really hard to think about it because everything was working.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't feel like I did anything really incredible. I made a lot of good putts, so that's the thing I'm taking away most. But I don't know. It's round one. Round one. If I do this final day, I think it could be up there, you know, close to probably number one.
Touch on that final putt on the 18th, actually. You were looking at 45 feet. It kind of looked like you might lay that one up. What's going through your mind?
I hadn't laid a putt up yet, so I didn't feel like that was the time to do it. Even if it went in the water, I still had a good round. I think it's pretty close to OB right there, so I probably would have still shot a 12. And actually, when I walked up to it, I saw Gavin's disc, and he was on the line, on the circle line, and I was like, I'd putt it from there. Why would I not putt it from 5 to 8 feet further back? Yep. So that's really what in my head gave me the green light. And then I got a breeze when I was standing there, so I heard it coming, so I just let it go through and then putted right after.
All right, Paul, you got a 3-stroke lead heading into round 2. Thank you for your time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Perkins and McBeth. Let's check out some Paul McBeth highlights.
I'm going to go as far to say is that's one of the top 10 interviews I've ever seen from Paul McBeth. When he said, I just want to win. This guy has everything in our sport. Everything. He's done everything, and he still just wants to win. I think that's so primal. It brings it back to where we all started. Just trying to win and beat the other competitors out there today. An impressive day from Paul McBeth on both the backhand, sidearm, and the putter.
The putt was what did it for me. Just some incredible, like he said, just cutting through the wind, where the wind, he's not swinging them wide or anything. It's just like popping a nice flat putt 50 feet through blustery wind, finding the center more often than not from circle 2. This was an incredible shot, a really clutch shot. And then the last one, save the best for last, going right at the water.
A great putter makes a third of their looks from circle 2. He made 2/3 today.
Yeah. And it's like a golf course. Like you can tear it up from circle 2 in the woods when it's like, yeah, it's not that windy, floating stuff around. It's like, it's harder to do in the wide open with no real gauges on distances. You're just kind of putting in that open air. Really, really impressive performance.
Just missed one on the back 9 there.
Yeah, 6 for 9 from circle 2. That was that percentage. And then perfect inside C1X. Had 3 park jobs, which I believe is in the top 5 as far as park jobs, or is it number 1?
Number 1, Nate.
Yeah, so number 1 in park jobs. So that just kind of confirms everything that we were talking about. You've got to make putts out here. You don't get a lot of park jobs. And so, I don't know. I also got to mention, if he says if I do that in the final round, it might be one of the best ever. That's why I put it near the top 10 as far as great rounds for Paul McBeth.
Disc golf sure is more exciting,
isn't it?
When Paul McBeth is playing his way.
Disc golf's better when McBeast is doing his thing out here.
And my mind just goes now to how does Paul respond? Because he struggled. He has struggled over the last 2 years. We're talking about it right here. You know, nothing last year. He's really faltered in the final round this year several times. And so how does he respond tomorrow? And does he continue to put the pedal down, or does he make some mistakes and allow people back into the tournament?
We will find out tomorrow. We've got one hole left to play for our feature card, hole 18. Get a live look at that from our Flight Factory drone. And it is, in fact, crunch time as well. Thanks to our friends over at 1010 Disc. We're commercial free the rest of the way through. Great perspective on the hole.
Yeah, third hardest. Technically not an island hole because they're doing this trick of making a little walking path with inbounds on the way up, but plays like an island.
Burr up first. Let's see. He is tied with Hammis right now. And Marweed. Both have lower PDGA
I was going to say,
he needs the birdie. He needs the birdie.
Yeah, because PDGA number-wise, he's going to drop down to that chase card. The birdie puts him on the lead card.
That's really right.
I don't see how you can go for the green from there.
There's OB over there as well.
Yeah, there is. If you go enough right of those trees, we were looking at those trunks, you can find the OB. But with when we went through the drone from lower, and you were breaking down the hole, I mean, that low ceiling is so challenging when you're on the right side.
Yeah, I would expect a forehand if he is inbounds and he's pinched up under those trees. You have a little bit of room to kind of send it back towards the OB line and let it pull off.
Heimberg, this looks ideal.
It sure does.
If Gannon does not birdie, Hammis will be the 4th member of the lead card. PDGA in the 57,000s.
Fresnel. Burr and Marweed are separated by like 100 points.
I know, I
Did
was
you
going to
see
say,
that?
they're both in the 75,000.
Yeah, just right there. Or 100 numbers, I guess. They're not points.
I'm glad they're not points. I'd be doing so bad.
Lazat. Sharp looking drive from Simon, too.
He doesn't seem happy for some reason.
And he's one of those high expectation guys, huh? Got the last man to win a major right over there.
In Cali.
In Cali.
Not the last major.
Thank you.
Let's be very clear about that.
Our Cali majors. Man, Paul's looking good today, though.
What an opening round. I mean, Paul McBeth just really gave us all a gift. I know it's a few months past Christmas, but thank you, Paul. I really appreciate it because that made day one something special.
Surely did. It was really impressive. I'm waiting to see, is Gannon Burr safe over there? Can he perhaps get in? I think that would be a really nice storyline to have the greatest of one generation and perhaps the greatest of that next generation going head-to-head in round 2. It's nice to get those guys together early. But, man, yeah, my excitement level, it was a major. Obviously, I was excited to come down here and watch and get back in the booth with you guys, but it's been doubled. How much I'm looking forward to the conclusion of this tournament. So many cool storylines.
One of those vintage McBeth rounds, man. Just something else special about it, isn't it?
Yes.
Here are the majors.
Yeah, now these are West Coast because you can see we have the Oregon and Utah World Championships that have happened there. Of course, Ken Climo, 1990. That was his very first world title, I believe, out there in Arizona.
Wherever you're in Utah, are you excited about being West Coast? Are you a little bit slandered? How are you feeling about that?
As an Oregon guy, I'm kind of I don't really consider Arizona and Utah on the West Coast, but if they want to get in here, I mean,
they're west of the Rockies.
I'm not going to push them out.
True.
They're in the western portion of the United States.
Lazat, his second on 18. Go in.
Nice shot.
I think a lot of the other storylines start to really talk about some of the kind of the poor performances when you really start to think about what Calvin has done as the defending champion of the OTB Open. Ansela with the 2 Elite Series DGPTs, he's just 4 under par. AB, who we expected so much from, just shoots just 5 down today.
Wysocki.
Yeah, Ricky, huge disappointment as well.
Varela shot 7 down on 9 holes yesterday on this course.
Exactly.
Presnell attacking the peninsula.
And honestly, I don't think it's been that bad of a day for Presnell. He's 4 down. He could have easily saved 2 to 3 shots in a couple of places. Could have shot a 6 or 7 very easily.
Yep. So yes, inbounds.
Whoa, look at this.
And little low window, and the forehand isn't there. I thought he might have the ability to kind of play that low ceiling and swing it back. Oh, maybe he does. I personally like the forehand if he has it. If he can take it through here, stay over land a little bit longer.
It's the backhand really brings into play that he would just move up 30 feet or something,
Yes.
40 feet.
And I think
if he doesn't come back and bounce.
without the ability to swing it with a lot of height, that you're going for a thin part of green with the backhand because it hasn't started fading yet.
Right.
So you have to like stick it. And the forehand you can play fade.
So basically the forehand kind of shooting out at that black flanner out there.
Yes. A little bit of height is available to him, I
Put
think.
enough speed on it to try to get to that back corner.
And then the skip is your friend as opposed to the backhand where you're just getting farther away.
It's high.
Uh-oh.
That's high.
There's no way that has the distance, eh? Oh, maybe it does.
I don't think so.
The Pirates are making
Yeah.
noises. That's never a good sign.
Yeah, just that connection with the branch could not get out cleanly.
Yeah, you can hear him talk about the wind elevating that disc. Once it lost the spin from the tree hit, that cross head just would not allow it to get the distance it needed.
Yeah, this is the view we need. I couldn't quite see where it came to rest.
It wasn't much of a hit, but just enough, and then that headwind.
Oh, yeah. I saw that little skip move, and I couldn't tell if it was up on the grass or as I kind of suspected. Well, in
Heimberg.
Wow, this is a
huge
long
drive. Oh my gosh.
Sit. Oh, man. Heimberg with another slow roller. Just a bigger skip than you'd expect. Very similar to the previous hole.
On 17, where he did the same result, huh? Oof.
And it's going to be a very scary putt.
Just a bogey for Burr would keep him on the chase card. A double, goes on to take a 6 here, would drop him to the 3rd card and actually would move Isaac Robinson to that chase card.
Beautiful shot.
So he will stay on chase.
Impressive
And
performance
actually,
from
Isaac will still make chase as well. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, impressive performance from James Proctor, fighting through an elbow injury. I think this is really his first meaningful action of the season.
After the injury, yeah.
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 Yeah, so he hasn't really had much.
No. And he's
run
not
up
throwing
into
forehands.
this.
That's
Yeah.
a major weapon for him as well.
That's impressive. Yeah. Going to find himself currently in 7th place.
Yeah, he's playing late enough too, so he can still caddy in the morning. That's his other job.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I love their friendship. It's really
Oh,
cool.
absolutely. I think it's great. There's certain people that. What do you do with yourself in the morning when you play at 2:45 in the afternoon? James has the energy. He's a big, strong guy, and maybe it kind of helps center him a little bit just to be out there, kind of seeing how the course is playing.
Yeah, bogey free 8 down today. A Heimberg second ruled OB. This for par.
Wind looks down compared to when McBeth's group came through, so perhaps Heimberg a little bit better chance to make good. Very nice.
Huge save.
To the water.
Of all those names we've been talking about, I expect at least one really good round tomorrow from one of those
Oh,
guys,
yes.
if not more than one.
Oh, it's got. I would.
To start
It's got to
percolating.
be more than one. There's no way the course can keep those guys down 2 days in a row.
Exactly. Even with an intense win tomorrow, I still expect one of those big names to pop off something special.
I mean, the windier the better in some ways.
Yeah.
For those top players, it's like, oh shoot, okay, I was worried that would roll right. On a course this hard, you know, you might not put down a 14, but you might make up more ground up the leaderboard in really bad conditions if you're a Barella, and you can just go to the overstable and hammer shots through the wind.
Fresno in for the par finish, your defending Champions Cup champion. That's 4 down for Fresno and Lazat today.
1, 2, 3, yeah!
What a day for Paul McBeth. And, you know, disc golf's in a better place when McBeth's having a day like that, guys.
Just exciting, you know, see one of our all-time greats kind of turning back the clock and doing things that we were used to seeing him do consistently for many, many years. Still a young guy, still has a lot of opportunity to achieve a lot of things, but it was just fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think regardless of what you think of Paul McBeth, whether you're a fan or not, watching that interview today, that was something special. That goes back to just the base of what we're out here to do, which is try to win, and it's been a long time for a guy that's put down so many wins. It'll be interesting to watch the next 3 days. I cannot wait for it. It's exciting. Great day one, that's for sure.
With you there, Nate. We're going to kick it off to one more quick break. On the other side, you'll see the OTB after show. We'll see you there.
Hey everybody, Joel Freeman here with Team Infinite, and I've got great news for you. My 2025 discs can be found easily at infinitediscs.com. You've got a variety of different molds with this stamp on it. They look beautiful. Thank you guys so much for all your support.
EDGE is a nationally recognized 501c3 charitable organization.
What we do is we empower the teachers with complete programming along with the equipment and a standardized curriculum. So you have a one-stop shop for teachers and youth educators. That's really what EDGE is. It makes everything simple for the teacher to get involved with disc golf.
If we want disc golf to be recognized, we need to introduce disc golf to the youth. And if nothing else, they've got a healthy game that they can enjoy with their families throughout the rest of their lives.
My name's Holland Hanley.
My name is Alberton,
and we use the Easy Cart. I went with the Easy Cart because it lets me switch back and forth between using the bag and using the cart.
I like the simplicity of Easy Cart. On the longer courses, it takes off a lot of weight from my bag.
I also get the extra storage below.
And it works for the smallest and the biggest bags in the game.
I think the Easy Cart goes for whoever already has a nice big premium bag and they don't want to spend a ton of money also getting the most expensive cart.
Can I just say I agree?
Ditto.
sort of like prove to myself that I still got it. Whatever is meant to happen with me will happen. And what I want wants me even more, so I just have to be open to receive it.
There's a place where the game meets the extraordinary. Eagles Crossing Disc Golf, a realm of lush fairways and peaceful woods, where every hole offers a new chapter in your adventure. Explore this one-of-a-kind disc golf property that boasts not one, but 2 championship-level courses. Eagles Crossing is where your perfect round begins. Book your tee time online at eaglescrossingdiscgolf.com.
If you want to know what a disc is going to feel like before you get it, you have to check out OTB disc. The first thing I'm looking for when I grab a new disc is the feel of the disc. It's got to be confidence instilled. Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
It's really, really helpful in not only finding a disc that looks beautiful, but is also exactly what you're looking for it to feel like. Of course, when you're dealing with OTB, you're going to get only the best.
Hottest of rounds at the top for the modern era goat. Unbelievable stuff. You guys feel like waxing poetic about Paul?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
What do you got for me?
I think even Paul or no Paul, to be 7 shots ahead of players on the second card in the top 10 after 1 round in a major, that's just a rare thing to see a round that incredible. In this era that we've been in, it's like guys tied all the way down, no separation. To be able to break out 3 over the field is a rare thing. And the fact that it was Paul McBeth and it's this kind of redemption story after the slow season, I'm loving it.
Yeah, me too. And I think the redemption story is certainly one that we're all going to want to talk about. But to me, it's really about watching the Paul McBeth that we're going to see this week, because he's now in contention in a major championship. It's been a while. How does he react tomorrow? To me, that's the big question. Does he come out? Now, we don't expect another 14, but can he get another 10? Can he continue to put some dominance on this, kind of go out and workman like, or is he under stress? Is he under pressure? Because that was the thing that I enjoyed the most today. The score was great. Everything was great. But it was watching a free-flowing Paul McBeth, a guy that just wasn't fighting against good or bad or really feeling like he had to get that extra birdie. He just kind of allowed it to happen, trusted his instinct, and to me, that was the most fun thing to watch today.
Kind of interesting. He's come out to hot starts throughout the year. He's been on lead cards going into Sunday. Can he keep it going to buck that trend?
Only time will tell, but you know, you have to like his chances. It was an incredible show. So I mean, I was saying off air to you guys how amazing it is with all the history that he's had and all that we've seen from him. How if he just plays like this for 30 minutes, I just think, oh, this is it. He'll never miss again. Like it's just I was lucky enough to travel with him for 2 or 3 years. You know, I've seen as many practice rounds of this guy as anybody, and when he was at his absolute peak. And it kind of gives me a little bit of good memories, a little bit of chills to see him knocking him down. Like this was just one of the biggest putts of his life right here at the 2022 Worlds. Chasing down, just fighting with Aaron Gossage. And that we got a little bit of that today. We did.
Yeah, we most definitely did. And again, I just think it's a different Paul McBeth. The one thing that Nate Perkins said at the top of the show is that Paul McBeth wants his son to know this McBeth, not the one that dad was this. He wants to show his son that anything is possible, and I think the power of that is really kind of you cannot compare it to almost any other power, the will to be there for your child. So I think McBeth, back from the injury, from all the turmoil, this is really amazing to see it. And I think deep down, Paul is just allowing history to be history. He's focused on just winning another big one. That's all he really cares about.
But yeah, we're going to bring in our man Nate Perkins for a talk back. Welcome in, Perk. I got to ask you, you're on the ground with Paul. Like, what was it like watching him? Was his demeanor different than it's been this year? Did he have his swagger back? Like, what was it like soaking that in, man?
Yeah, he's had the swagger this entire season, I feel. I've been noticing it. I mean, he's been in contention every single tournament so far this year and just hasn't been able to get it done on Sunday. But yeah, he's definitely found a different level of focus that he really almost never found for a single tournament last year. And as you guys are stating, it's just good for disc golf, right? I don't think there's a single person on the ground here that doesn't revel in and marvel in Paul lining up a 45-footer on 18 and then deciding to go for it and hitting it. It was pretty special and definitely gave me the chills.
I wanted to ask you, Perkins, obviously you're out there watching, and tomorrow we're going to play this exact course again, the A course. We expect to see some good rounds. In your opinion, how much is it going to change once we get to that weekend? Because the course does change up quite a bit.
Yeah. The B layout is pretty different, you know, I think 3 completely new holes, 10 different pin positions, and we've mentioned it, there's subtle differences, but I feel like just completely different shapes are required. And typically, you know, when a player like gets in a groove, they can just repeat that shot and repeat it. And going into the weekend, they're not going to be able to rely on that, and they're going to actually have to go back like 4 days in memory to try and recall the shot they need to score. So I really like the B position. And the next thing I'm keen in on, Doss, is the wind direction. So tomorrow it's going to be almost a carbon copy of what we had today. It's somewhat calm in the morning, and then early afternoon starts to pick up, and it actually reaches its peak at like 5, 6 o'clock, which we saw today, which when that wind does pick up to 20 miles per hour, it's what really makes the difference out here for the challenge.
Sexton, any questions for our man?
Man, I'm just jealous you got to see it in the flesh. I mean, we're here in the booth, and I feel like I still had a pretty good front row seat, but I'm just excited. I'm glad to have you out there. I'm glad to be able to throw you some questions and get the real situation so quickly. It makes our show so much better, and I'm just looking forward to tomorrow.
With you. Awesome work out there, Nate. We will catch you for tomorrow.
Yeah, how about that time? Well, I just wanted to note about how about McBeth's energy in the interview, right? I mean, talk about you guys are like little kids in the booth, and then Paul is almost like a little kid down here saying that he wants to win. I think that's about as real as we've seen him. You know, he just couldn't hide it. He's like, I want this. I want to win. So it's crazy. I mean, he won his world title 13 years ago, and he's still out here, still hungry, and yeah, beating everybody. So I'm stoked to be here.
Awesome, Nate. Well, thanks again for the work today, and we will catch you tomorrow. 9 o'clock for the win.
See you tomorrow, guys.
It's funny. It's very interesting hearing Nate say that, because it kind of reminds me of Kenny towards the end of his career.
Okay.
When he started to pick up some of those late majors in the Open before he was going to start to move away to the Masters, and you could see that fire, right? Early on, he's winning all these worlds in a row, but as you get later in that career, that fire, it reinvigorates it. And I think that, as Nate said, it's just kind of bare bones. I want this. Paul wants this. I think the biggest concern I have is that he wants it too much, and he gets a little bit too tight. He tries to be the McBeast of old. He needs to be the McBeth of now. And I think that's really what I'm personally hoping to see over the next 3 days.
Those two guys look like the same guy today, though, didn't they?
They certainly did.
Yeah. All right, that was an awesome, awesome day at the Champions Cup, guys. It is time for the OTB shot of the day. Guesses?
I mean, it's got to be the
putt
final
on 18, right?
It has to be.
Yeah, I'm just a different opinion. I'll throw that putt on 14. It was pretty huge.
That was long.
Yeah,
it was longer, less,
death, water,
death
all
and
that good
stuff.
But
there's no bad choices on a day like today. Marky, fire off that OTB shot of the day. What do you got for us, buddy? Production batting 1,000. Per the usual. They're killing it. That was Paul McBeth today, too. Killing it all over the course. That makes it so much shorter than it was, doesn't it?
And it's a great view here of how far they brought that. I love that he said, well, boy, I would go for the one that Gavin's got.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I go for mine?
It's a funny,
that was pretty.
It's an interesting way to think because
ice
clearly
in the
there's a
veins.
line in the sand somewhere. So you can be like, well, I would have gone for that. Why wouldn't I go for
Boy,
that?
I'm 80 back.
I mean,
He's 20.
from 200, I would have done it from 100.
Out of control.
Fun stuff.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
True that.
All right, guys. Those are your show times for tomorrow for the FPO side as well as the MPO side for Nate, and Nate. Everyone on the ground, everyone in the booth, we thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing to the Disc Golf Network. We'll catch you tomorrow for more Champions Cup.